Your favorite compas have another jam-packed episode of Tuesday Live. Obviously, Lunes was Memorial Day weekend, but it is Tuesday Live. Now that we're in the middle of what the NFL calls Phase 3 of OTAs, or of the offseason program, we're going to start a new segment called NFL Offseason with the Compas, and we will do so talking about the two Super Bowl participants, obviously the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Gilbert and I will also talk combat sports by recapping King and Queen of the Ring, what is going on with Becky Lynch's future, obviously previewing UFC 302. And there's another huge boxing card out in Saudi Arabia. Feels like Saudi Arabia's got some good ones the last few weeks. Plus, Vic, the producer, will join us for a little rapid fire. And, of course, we cannot forget about the 10 good minutes with Dan and Dago. And we will have so much more. All right, Gilbert. Don't you have a question for our viewers and or listeners?
Yes, I do, Fernando, but you got me thinking because I think we're trying to bring back Barry of the Week for this episode, and you mentioned the off-season program. Victor, make a little note that I want to bash this new proposal about changing the NFL off-season calendar. I need that summer break. I need that month off, so I don't know if you saw Fernando, but let me know. Remind me later on. But for the engagement question of the week, we're going to discuss, I don't know, maybe a team I sort of like or like to watch a little bit on Sundays, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Which team am I talking about? 49ers, Chiefs? I don't know. But will we have a rematch, back-to-back years, Chiefs and the 49ers in the Super Bowl? You know, I'll give you my thoughts, but it's rare when you have a Super Bowl back-to-back of the same two teams. Hey, the 49ers and the Chiefs played against each other in, 2019, 2020? I forget, but let me know if you think those two teams will meet there again. I know how the comments are going to be about this one, and I'm sure Dan has an opinion about this one too.
Yeah, no, definitely. He has an opinion about everything. All right, let's hit the intro.
Compas on the beat. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah. So we're Compas.
Yeah, we are.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, all right. We got proof right there.
Some guy that seems like he's asleep. Need you to wake up, Gilbert. There's a lot of energy.
Come on, Gilbert. Let's go.
Come on. Dan and Dago is at Moe's.
I'll show you. I'll show you. I got it right.
Okay, that's it. You guys, I am done with mine, but that's couldn't get better than a 2026 6th-round pick swap for a 7th-rounder. So
Freaking love you, Chad.
Hey, dude. Cool, man.
Compas on the beat, man. Derwin James signing off, man. Watch Compas on the beat, man.
Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
what's up, Fernando? Seeing Rolly Romero's 6-pack reminds me that I don't have much time to get my 6-pack before my trip to Cancun. Can I get a 6-pack in 6 weeks? 1 pack per week. How about that?
You're a huge Chiefs fan.
He's talking about himself, but I guess he's talking about me. I don't know why.
What's it called? I don't know. Maybe you can get a spray on 6-pack before you head
I could have whatever Oscar De La Hoya had for his.
That's what I was saying. Well, that one, I think they take the fat out of your stomach and make like a 6-pack, I think, or something like. They take fat out of your stomach, I think.
Any idea how much that will cost me?
Oh, you can get it done in Tijuana if you want.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can get anything done in Tijuana. By the way, I saw, where was I? I think I was in downtown when I went to go cover the Padres over the weekend. Juan Soto returned, obviously, to San Diego. And I saw some lady that I thought if she would have, like, you could tell they were ass plants. If she would have fallen over, she would have bounced off like her tuchus and jumped back up, and she would have been fine. Like that, like it looked like she had. Well, yeah.
Well, that's why you get her, right? So to have protection.
Exactly. Yeah, the cushion or whatever. So definitely,
right.
The real Jackson's already jumping in. He's like 49ers are not going to be as good next season. Look at that, already jumping in on the topic. So we'll definitely discuss it right now.
What about the Chiefs? The real Jackson.
Oh, the real Jackson. Are the Chiefs going to be as good next season? What do you think? Before we get started, though, do want to talk real quick. 2 quick points. One, I hope everybody had a good Memorial Day weekend. Let's not forget about why we have Memorial Day weekend, to honor those who are no longer with us, who have made the ultimate sacrifice. So thank you to everybody for that. And all right, Gilbert doesn't know about this, but I'm just going to go off the rails a little bit because I saw some of the comments on videos from last weekend. And I have to remind some of you that Gilbert and I are not fans.
Okay.
We are not fans of teams. We cover the teams. I know you guys think, like, I saw some people go, oh, well, how is this a Chargers channel if you guys are saying this or that? We're reporters, and I think sometimes people forget about that. So it's, we're not fans of, I mean, you're like, oh, yeah, that player's doing well. This is doing well. We analyze and stuff. But to me, there was just a lot of effery going on last week, to not use the full word. But I just thought that people need to remember that just because there's people out there that stroke them, we ain't gonna do that. So y'all need to chill out a little bit. I don't know, Gilbert. I thought it was a lot of.
I gotta say it was a good week for our football takes because a lot of people were commenting, mostly bad. People didn't like it, but if you're not getting an engagement or a rise, you're not doing something right. Like you got to get people to talk. And hey, I don't care. It's an opinion. That's right. We're in the United States of America. Freedom of speech, right? People like to say it all the time. And if I say Ed O'Connell is not as good as Gardner Minshew, that's my opinion. But Raider fans don't like that. If I say the Chargers are probably gonna go 7-10, you know what? I feel better, more like 8-9. I'll take one game back. But still, people won't be happy about that, right? So Chargers fans, Raider fans get mad at me. So where's Hort here, by the way? He called me like a closet Raider fan, and I'm over here bashing the next great quarterback for the Raiders, Aiden O'Connell, right?
I don't know about great.
Wait, it was a joke. Come on.
No, I know. I was about to say, like, whoever it is going to have a pacifier for a year until they can draft Shador Sanders. So, but
save it for Dan and Diego's conversation.
I know, for real. But no, I just wanted to say that, like, hey, like, we get it. But I think that's the thing. When people think, oh, you have a show or this or that, people are like, oh, you're automatically a fan. It's like, no, that's not the way we do things.
Either you're a fan or you're saying hot takes for clickbait. And I'm like, no,
exactly.
It's just an opinion, nothing else.
Exactly. So, I mean, Gilbert may be a colleague and a friend, but that doesn't mean that he has he likes to go that route the way other certain people do. But definitely just wanted to remind folks out there, we save the hot takes for when Dan and Dago comes on. But yeah, Gilbert, let's get into it a little bit. So the real Jackson said Chiefs will be there, I think. LOL.
Okay.
He's like, it's tough to make a repeat appearance in the big game. The Chiefs and Patriots are the recent exceptions of the rule. That's very true. But all right, Gilbert.
When's the last time we had the same two teams in the same Super Bowl back-to-back years? Or not same Super Bowl?
I think it's been a while. I can look it up in a bit.
Obviously, the 49ers and Chiefs played twice, but they were like 4 years apart or 3 years apart.
Well, that's the one. I think. Actually,
unless I'm forgetting something.
No, I don't remember anybody except for that one, like the Chiefs and 49ers. I think it had been a while.
Yeah, is it Bills Cowboys? Yeah, and then when they lost 4 in a row.
But what was your question though?
Back-to-back Super Bowls with the same two teams.
Oh yeah, Dallas and Buffalo, 93 and 94.
So started with the Giants, and then the team you can't say anymore, Washington, and then the 2 Cowboys. Okay.
No, you can say it. I heard people say it.
Well, Dan Quinn wants to say it on his shirt.
No, that was a great. That was
a cool shirt, but I get it's a little touchy subject.
I was actually interested to see what I mean, there's been repeat winners, like Pittsburgh repeated, Dallas repeated, like there has been repeat winners, but the same matchup, I think it's only those, Washington, Buffalo.
Well, that streak of having a repeat winner ended last year, not yesterday. Feels like it.
Yeah, no, it's been a while.
But there's never been a 3-peat. I do know that, right?
No, there's never been a 3-peat. No, because Green Bay did it twice. Miami did it twice. Pittsburgh did it twice. Pittsburgh did it twice again.
The Patriots were one of them.
Well, yeah. San Francisco did it twice. Dallas did it twice. Denver did it twice. And then
once.
New England did it twice. And then now the Chiefs have done it twice.
You're saying back-to-back Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Well, I think the Broncos did it twice, or 2 times in a row.
No, they did it twice. Denver in 98 and then 99.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you mean one time
they won it.
Okay, I'm confused, but
so all these teams
they've repeated one time in their franchise, but they've
all these teams that I mentioned, they repeated.
Gotcha. When you say twice, it make it seem like 2 set of repeats.
Oh no, no, I meant like they all repeated. But there's never been a 3-peat like you. You know what? We were close. Super Bowl Not in 72, Miami lost to Dallas 24-3. If they would have won that Super Bowl, they would have three-peated in 73, 74.
That's a good stat to know because the Chiefs are going to flirt with that. Maybe.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But the real Jackson, we'll get into that in 1 second. Make sure you don't go anywhere. We will get into that. That's actually a good question. All right, Gilbert. NFL offseason with the Compas. The path for the Chiefs and the 49ers to make it back to the Super Bowl. Obviously, the 49ers do have some issues as far as Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Gilbert, you interviewed Ricky Pearsall, who should add, if they're able to keep both of those guys and then Ricky, it should be an interesting dynamic between the three. They obviously still, I think, have Jawan Jennings. They still have some other players that can contribute. Christian McCaffrey as well. Now, when it comes over to the Chiefs, they also Rashid Rice. Who knows what's going to happen with his deal as far as legal troubles. They did get Xavier Worthy and Marquise Hollywood Brown. I do have questions about that, though, just because if you can get two corners to jam them off the line, will they be able to get past that? We don't know. But Gilbert, just a little bit of that. Which one do you think is has the bigger chance of making it back next season?
Man, that's a tough question. I'll say the 49ers, and yeah, people are probably shocked, but like you mentioned, it's never happened before a three-peat for one franchise, right? And then last year the talk was like, well, it hasn't happened in 20-something years for back-to-back Super Bowl champions, and the Chiefs did that. But Kelsey's a year older. You got the whole Taylor Swift dynamic kind of lingering. You think that's maybe like a mental toll for another season? You got the Butker mess. Butker mess, not miss. He doesn't miss that much. That's why they're going to keep him around. He made a 57-yard field goal in the Super Bowl. And then you got the Rashid Rice dynamic. And Fernando, when we were talking about Xavier Worthy, like I know they managed last year with like a bumpy road with some kind of subpar receiver play before Rashid Rice took over in the postseason. But you got to have Rashid Rice to allow Worthy to like break free from that kind of pressure or that jamming at the line of scrimmage because he's not
break free.
There you go. He's not a physical, bulky receiver. So when you have Rashid Rice and you have Marquise Brown, you can move around. Maybe somewhat of a gadget player like that. But just all the off the field issues, the mental burden, the wear and tear. Like I think the Chiefs is going to be a little harder. But I like I mentioned on the previous show, the 49ers also have a mental burden of like getting so close, falling back down, trying to climb up again. But I think them keeping Ayuk and Deebo together for one more year, like it still makes them a strong team to get back there. And honestly, if you're the 49ers, who cares if you lose one in the offseason for nothing? Because you're all about winning the Super Bowl. And you keep those two guys together, you have better odds of winning that.
So I'm going to go different. Well, no, I'm going to go kind of the same route that you went. I don't think the Harrison Butker thing should be as a huge issue as like people are making it seem to be. I think the Rashid Rice is the one that really is like, hey, like what's going to happen? Especially because obviously it was an accident. Who knows what the mom and the son, what's going on with them and all that. I think the Harrison Butker is just for right now. I think as soon as like training camp starts, it's all going to go away. But
yeah, if you chose a time to say dumb stuff, you do it in May, ask the star players in late May, and then move on, right?
I mean, it was just it was during a commencement speech, so obviously,
there might be some spillover in road games, but that's about it.
But see, that's kind of the issue when it comes to this, because I'm sure last year they all got fed up with all the Taylor Swift questions.
There's always something, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, and that's what happened when Andy Reid was in Philly. It was always something that would come up that he would get asked about, and that's kind of what's led up with Andy as a coach, is that there's always something coming up. So yeah, there's always something that comes up with them. The Rashid Rice obviously is going to be interesting. What happens there, but at one point it has to catch up with you think. And by the way, the fact that fans were getting all like, oh, Mahomes looks a little bit overweight, this, that, with that picture of him showing up. I'm like, who gives a crap? Yeah. By the way, I did see a video over the weekend. Travis Kelce was at the Mavs game with Patrick Mahomes and I think and Hollywood Brown, and Mahomes was cheered and Kelce was booed. So that should tell you the state of what some sports fans are.
I think about Holmes might have got cheered because he's from Texas, right?
Yeah, no, he
but
is.
obviously the whole Taylor Swift dynamic.
But I'm telling you, like last year was all cute and dandy and all that. I think this year there might be a little bit of a revenge tour for the rest of the NFL against that guy. So so I'm definitely interested to see kind of how everybody takes it. Last year it was cute, it was a news story. Now it's like, okay, that's kind of run its course. Let's see how it is. L'Jarius Sneed, I know he struggled at the end of the season a little bit, but he did come up with some clutch plays. That's a loss that may hurt them. There's Chris Jones was following. He wanted the bag. He got the bag. How is that going to happen to the real Jackson? No, I don't. I do not listen to Taylor Swift. I don't think Gilbert does. Dan and Dago did in Tennessee. We remember he was there.
Oh yeah, we have proof of the video.
Yeah, we have proof. So, but no, I don't listen to any of her music. I mean, if it's on, you're like, oh, okay, cool. But no, not really. So those are my issues with, and then Kansas City, we were talking about the bump and run. Are they going to be able to do that? Are they going to be able to separate? Are these receivers like Hollywood Brown? We know has had injuries before. Xavier Worthy, I think one of those guys already got hurt. They hurt a hamstring. I can't remember which one it was. So that's, and like you said, the aging of Mahomes. Now on the other side with San Francisco, I gotta ask the question: does Kyle Shanahan still have the attention of his team? Because at one point it's like you're making it, but you're not winning it. What is happening? And then, at one point, players look at social media. These guys are seeing that Kyle Shanahan can't win the big one. He choked against the Patriots when he was the offensive coordinator. Choked against the Chiefs back in 2020. Choked it, and there's just stuff that's going to come out about him, and I just want to see if he still has the team's attention. 2, what can you do to reinvent yourself coming into this season? You're going to have to do something different. Your pass rush at one point last year was just not working the way you thought. Didn't work in the Super Bowl as effectively as you thought. So there's question marks there. There's secondary. There's question marks. Shadavius Ward, he just did something. He had called out somebody. He did something recently that I thought was pretty interesting. I can't remember. He was talking about somebody on the Eagles, I think. I can't remember. But it's just going to be interesting to see what happens with either team. But shoot, I can't. It's hard for me to choose either one.
Yeah,
but
it's tough to get back to the Super Bowl. Just
either way,
either team. Yeah.
But
by the way, the real Jackson, I think Fernando meant Kelsey, not Mahomes, in terms of aging.
Oh, my bad. Did I say Mahomes? Sorry. I meant Kelsey. Sorry about that. I did not mean Mahomes. My question is, I'm going to go with the 49ers only because that conference is not as tough as what the AFC is going to be. Yeah. I think the AFC is going to be even more lethal this year. Obviously, well, you're not a big fan of theirs, but I think the Jets, if Rodgers can stay healthy, I think they'll be okay. You have CJ Stroud and the Texans. You have Joe Burrow returning with the Bengals. You have Josh Allen. You have exactly. You just have a lot of stuff. You have a lot of factors in the AFC.
Is there one or two teams that like you mentioned? There's 4 or 5 teams that you really like to maybe beat them, but is there 1 or 2 that you really really like? Because it's hard for me to narrow down the contenders. But you're right, there are more teams to push them in the AFC. I just don't know which one I want to get behind. He kind of scared me last week with the Bengals conversation we had because of the wrist factor for Burrow. Yeah. And I didn't really think about it because that is a throwing hand injury. And then we saw what happened with the calf injury last year for Burrow. They weren't the same team until he got over the calf injury. And then he got hurt again. So it's not a given. So I can't even back the Bengals. I don't know if I back the Ravens. I don't know which team.
I don't like the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase right now that they're not going to. It's voluntary. But I don't like the whole dynamic of money. And I get it. Obviously, you want to get paid. You deserve to get paid. You've put in the numbers. By the way, I saw ESPN post that the Chargers were going to supposedly make a trade for T. Higgins. They did not just get rid of Keenan Allen to go trade for another receiver and pay him. So that one I don't not see happening unless no no.
Yeah, then
There's
you
no
draft McConkey in the second round. You draft
exactly. So
two
I don't
receivers
see
after
that.
that. Like I think you spend enough capital on that.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Um, if healthy, I really do think that the Jets could challenge them.
Man, that's
Now,
the team you're going with.
see, okay, their
Wow.
defense. The defense is what gets me.
Yeah,
I think their defense is very good, and I think it's only going to improve and it's going to get better. The only thing is their offense. I have a lot of questions about because I told you that offense is hanging on by a thread. They have Mike Williams. They have a tendon. They have Mike Williams. They have Teron Smith, and they have Morgan Moses, who are guys that, and then Aaron Rodgers obviously hanging on by an Achilles, but there's 4 guys right there that you kind of circle. By the way, I give them credit for going offensive line in the draft instead of going for the tight end, instead of going for all the reports were if Brock Bowers falls into their lap, they're taking him. They did not end up taking him. They ended up going to with exactly.
By the way, I was just looking at this, Fernando. This how far the Jets have come with their offensive line depth. I don't even know if he's going to start his rookie year because there's all the spots have been taken.
Yeah,
and they spent money on 3 veterans. They like Joe Tippmann the center, and they like Elijah Vera Tucker as a guard. So that's 5 guys right there. Obviously, it's a good problem to have, but I would rather have the young guy over some of these older guys.
Yeah, and I kind of see. I don't know if I think in camp is really where they're going to be able to solidify that offensive line. But I definitely think that the Jets are one. I really want to say the Houston Texans, but I'm very nervous about Joe Mixon and Stephon Diggs being in that locker room. I just don't. There's something about me that makes me want to. And then it's going to be another year. By the way, Shane Day was there last year as their quarterbacks coach. Now he's gone. He came back to Los Angeles.
There's something
so
there,
so that's going to be interesting to see how CJ Stroud takes that. So yeah, I'd probably go Jets. I can't say Ravens because the Ravens last year they had a perfect opportunity. They were at home and they couldn't get it done. So I may have to go. I'll go Jets, and I'll go another team that I just don't like the cornerbacks for Hugh. Well, no, I like Stingley. I probably.
I'll give you one, Fernando.
Give me the other one. Give me the other one. I give you the Jets.
It's in addition by subtraction. I like the Bills to finally do it without Stephon Diggs. Because I just saw the way they played when they weren't feeding Stephon Diggs. They were going to the run game, James Cook, kind of like Justin Herbert, right? Less is more approach, good offensive line protection, good running back scheme. That's what Jim Harbaugh wants to do with Justin Herbert. Like, stop being the hero, my guy, and kind of, take it easy. And when it's your time to shine, you don't got, I guess you could call Stephon Diggs a diva, screaming at your face, screaming to, hey, give me the ball. You operate that offense how you want to, how you please, because you're the franchise quarterback. And I like what Joe Brady did. So something about that. And I hate teams for now that keep doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you're going to finally get over that hump. Dallas Cowboys, anybody? It just doesn't work. 49ers are kind of like that too. It hasn't worked, but at least they've gone to Super Bowls. Like the Bills haven't gone to a Super Bowl. They broke up the old core, the old guys on defense. You let go kind of I don't want to say like a headache, but more frustration level on both sides. Maybe Diggs does better with CJ Stroud. Allen does better with the Bills without him. It could be a win-win. So that's a team I kind of like, but like I keep saying, like the Bengals scare me because of everything you laid out. The Rodgers scare me because he's just 40 years old. Lamar Jackson, I've been down that road. I've been on that train. It doesn't end well. So I think I'm starting to go with the Bills here.
Yeah, no, I completely, and you know why I think I would go with the Bills because like you did, because everybody's counting them out now. Everybody's like, oh no, the Bills might have fallen off this, that, but I like the reasons why you laid out. The only thing is on defense, I felt like they lost a lot of veteran.
They do a good job of finding kind of late round talent to just step in and be decent.
Yeah.
But let me give you kind of a comparison, Fernando. Like, remember those years where the Colts couldn't get it done against the Patriots? And they finally cracked through, like I think Tom Telesco was part of that team, or at least helping out. They were like the 6th seed. The defense got hot out of nowhere. They were running the football at will, and it was less is more with Peyton Manning, and they finally broke through. Maybe that could happen to Josh Allen.
No, and it really could. And that's the thing. I feel like we're at this point where I've seen and I've heard people say that this is an important year for so many younger quarterbacks, but I'm kind of like for Peyton Manning. I mean, and I don't think like a Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. I don't think these guys have faced as much backlash as Peyton Manning did. At one point, I thought Peyton Manning faced a lot. Like I remember that era, like it was bad. Like he was getting bashed left and right. He can't get it done. He can't do this. He chokes in the playoffs. And then finally in 2006, he did it when he was 8 years in. So sometimes it takes the right coach to be able to change everything that you have. And Tony Dungy was that guy for Peyton Manning. So it takes a minute. So that's kind of, I feel like at one point we know what you have in different quarterbacks. Like you know what you have in Brock Purdy, you know what you have in Tua Tagovailoa, you know what you have in certain guys, and that's kind of like they are who they are. But can you build around them and let them be able to go? And that's why, like when you talk about like the Chargers in a sense, like I feel like Jim Harbaugh said, you know what, let's give this guy a run game. We don't need the expensive weapons. We'd rather have the expensive pass rushers. And we have a guy that can throw the quarterback, can make anybody look good. The way Dan Diego said it for a while, he's like, if you put different guys out there, he can make those guys do well. That's exactly what he's doing right now. And let's go out there and try and win that way. Let's change it up. Every year was Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. It was guys like that. Let's change it up. Let's go with something different, and let's try and attack this a different way. And I feel like that's what the Bills are now doing. They're saying, you know what? Not business as usual. Let's change it up. Let's do something different. Heck, they should do a lot of 2 tight end sets. They have they have one really good tight end in Dalton Kincaid, and they have a good one in Knox. So I definitely think that you are right when it comes to the Bills. Maybe this is what the Bills needed. They needed to change things up.
Yeah,
But,
and just to answer Delwer's comment or respond to Delwer's comment, 2 contenders. He said Colts and Cardinals. Like I'm not that high on the Cardinals, and the Colts kind of intrigue me, but not that much to be a contender. Like with Super
you know
Bowl
why?
contender.
Gus Bradley's always done a good job against Mahomes and the Chiefs. So I kind of get where
if I see Richardson
staying
staying healthy and they're like doing well in November, maybe I'll buy.
I wish the Colts would bring back Stephon Gilmore for 1 year. I feel like if they brought back Stephon Gilmore, it would be a good addition for them to kind of keep that going, especially with the pass rush that they have. Hold on, there was one thing that I told them to.
I think the Rams portion.
Yeah. What do you think about the chance of the Rams getting there, Gilbert?
And it's tough. Like I'm gonna take
the Aaron Donald thing hurt.
Yeah, like it's like I kind of want to take the Chargers approach with them because it's Aaron Donald being gone. I want to see how they adjust without him. It's like I get it. They've built through the defensive front. They got some good pieces. They got some cornerstone pieces last year, but like it's still Aaron freaking Donald. Like how is everything gonna look? Like we had friend of the program, Eric Williams now, who left What's Up Bolts for a bit to join House of Horns. Shout out to Eric Williams there. Fernando, you weren't too happy about that, but he pretty much broke it down. It's like, you know what, don't expect too many changes, but it's still like a big loss of Aaron Donald, and we'll see what happens there. But they kind of get through this segment quicker because we got to get going to other stuff. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to put the Rams in the class of the Detroit Lions. And honestly, I really like the Eagles because maybe Howie got a little cocky last year and didn't do enough with the secondary and the linebacker. He did a great job of retooling that secondary. The linebacker spot, a little shaky still. But the Eagles are still very talented. They paid AJ Brown another contract for a reason because he's really good. I think Jalen Hurts is also very good. And you got Saquon Barkley. I don't know about that one just yet. But the Lions, man, like they're the ones, when you have a team that's like hungry a little bit, like, yeah, the Lions haven't lost too many playoff games. They don't have that Bills kind of or Cowboys, feeling where they lose a lot. They finally got a little taste last year of losing in the playoffs. Maybe that's enough motivation to come back stronger and beat the 49ers in their second kind of good year.
So Jackson mentioned it right now. He said Cristobal AD will return midseason. That's what I was going to ask you. So if they have a pretty good team, and let's just say in December, they give Aaron Donald a call. Because the Patriots used to do this with Junior Seau. The Patriots, a couple, like right around those 2006, 7, 8, 9 years, they would call Junior Seau. Junior Seau would come late in the season, like in December, and then into the playoffs, he would go with them. It was a couple years that he did this. Do you feel like Aaron Donald would pick up the phone and would consider coming back? Or do you feel like he's one of those players where I'm retired no matter what?
Well, let's put it this way. I don't think Aaron Donald's the type of guy who, when he retires, is going to gain like 30 pounds, have a beer belly, and be out of shape. He's probably going to be in the gym the whole time. They call him, maybe he'll listen. But I think he's a player who definitely will listen if, say, the Rams are flirting with the number 1 seed come December.
So speaking of that real quick, my buddy Tony Jefferson, who was he went to East, well, him and I both went to Eastlake High School. He got he was an undrafted free agent from Oklahoma, went to the Cardinals, then went to the Ravens. He just came out of retirement and said that that he wants to come back into the league after sitting out for a year. So I mean, there could be more guys that decide to do that, like be like, hey, you know what? I took a year off. I got healthier. I got better. Boom. Let me come back and do that. By the way, he already had an interesting, somebody already tweeted out today, Gilbert, and just real quick, they tweeted out some guy, who was this? Some Bolts fan was like, hold on, let me grab it. He put Tony Jefferson. The Chargers should think about signing Tony Jefferson. He played 41 games for the Chargers, and he played 41 games. 41 games for the Ravens,
yeah.
From 2017 to 21. Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter was his position coach. He also is a Chula Vista native and played at Eastlake High School. Chargers need a veteran like him. And Tony put the devil emoji, the smiling devil emoji. So that could be a good addition for them. A guy that's been another former Raven going to.
But at that point, you're kind of like, wouldn't you rather have Justin Simmons? But hey, maybe it's more about scheme fit and contracts and all that.
Yeah, cheaper. I'm sure. I keep on here. Well, and Tyler Dragon told me this a couple of weeks ago that he's hearing that Justin's asking for money. So, and you've seen the contracts that Harbaugh's like given out. None of them have been more than 4 or 5 million. Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely see that happening. But all right, Gilbert, that was a good segment. Let's go over to Combat Compas and talk a little King and Queen of the Ring. Just to give you a little overview, Gilbert. Cody Rhodes defeated Logan Paul in that match. It was about a 35-40 minute match. And man, I know people hate that I do this, and I know Logan's now suing Ryan Garcia and all this stuff. Oh, you didn't hear it because of all the prime. He's been talking about a prime drink a lot, so he's suing Ryan for it. Logan put on a great match with Cody. They put on a banger. So I guess Logan had told Triple H it'd be cool to add a drone when he jumps off of the turnbuckle and does his frog splash onto the announcer's table.
Okay.
They added I told Dan, hey, I think there's a drone in there. They added
I saw the video. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess Logan had given Triple H the idea. They used it and it looked pretty awesome, Gilbert. I'm not gonna lie. So they put on a great match. Logan's 13, 14 matches in, and he keeps on putting up good performances. So I was highly impressed with the way him and Cody did. Cody obviously beat him. It was a good, solid match again. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defeated Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. It was an all right match. I've a little bit more to be left desired there when it comes to that stuff. Sami Zayn defeated Brunson Reed and Chad Gable. The Chad Gable heel turn is actually it's been a lot of fun so far. So that's been interesting to see so far. Nia Jax is your Queen of the Ring, Gilbert. So she won. She beat Lyra Valkyria. She's also Irish. She just came up from NXT. They say that she's kind of the next Becky Lynch in a sense. Gunther defeated Randy Orton in the King of the Ring, but did he? Randy Orton's shoulders were never down, and there's been controversy there, so we'll see what happens with that. And last but not least, Gilbert, we had all spoken about it. Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan they had a match. Dominic Mysterio was there, and he said, I flew all the way to Saudi Arabia to stop you from becoming women's champion and Liv Morgan after he injured Rhea Ripley. And it was so he grabs a steel chair, throws it into the ring, and tells Becky, use it on Liv. Well, Liv comes up, runs up, grabs, and then he distracts the referee. Liv comes up, grabs her, DDTs her, or does her finisher onto the chair, pins Becky Lynch and becomes a new women's champion. Then on Monday Night Raw, they did a steel cage match, and Dominic again interfered with the match, and he helped Liv Morgan again, and then Liv Morgan gave him a big kiss after, and the dude
that's a lucky guy right there. But also, I'll be
know.
very afraid to turn your back on Rhea Ripley.
I know for that. I don't know what's going on there, but it's interesting. But Gilbert, real quick, before we get into the Liv stuff, Becky Lynch's contract runs out this week, so she will be taking a leave of absence. She basically put it in a tweet that she's not, she won't be it to be continued, or she put something to that extent. So I told you a couple of weeks ago, Gilbert, I think on here, that I think that Rue, who's Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch's daughter, is at the age now where she needs to go to school. So it seems like Becky's going to take some time off. I know there's been a lot of rumors. Is she going to AEW? I'm sure Tony Khan will be ringing her phone as soon as that contract expires, and will be saying, hey, we want to make you the highest paid women's wrestler in the world. Come with us. I would be very surprised if she actually accepted, for two reasons. One, her husband works in WWE. Two, you know exactly what's going on over here. You know the product. You don't know what's going on over there. There's weird stuff happening over there with like Mercedes Moné and the women's division. So if I'd stay with the person with the company that I know, but we all know Becky's a big time competitor. She's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and I'm sure she's just gonna take time off, and I'm sure she'll be back by the Rumble or something like that. Because I had told you before, after WrestleMania, I thought she was gonna take time off, and they decided to bring her back after Rhea got hurt. Yeah. So now it seems like she'll be taking a sabbatical for a bit, and I don't think this is the end for her. I just think this is a see you later. We can't be on the road anymore with our daughter. Like, we need to be. And then Seth is obviously injured. So today's Seth's birthday, and she posted, I'm coming home to you. So I think they're going to enjoy life a little bit, all three of them, and good for them. I mean, they've worked their asses off in the last few years, and now they get to spend time together. But it's definitely going to be interesting without Becky Lynch out there, because no matter what, she's loved all over. When she was here in San Diego, she got a huge pop when she came out. So Becky's still one of the top competitors. And again, I just do not see Rebecca Quinn being all elite, if I'm being completely honest.
Just to kind of think along those lines of that far-fetched possibility, is like, and I'm going to be jumping the gun a little bit. You can correct me later, Fernando. No,
you're good.
MJF return, maybe with a new contract, maybe not. That's a question for you. But if he did return with a new contract, that's a big, I guess, keep or return for Tony Khan. He has the money. He convinced a superstar not to jump to the other side. Maybe he could do it with Becky Lynch. I know that's bringing her over is different than retaining a star, athlete in their prime. I get that, but the other part too, for now, like maybe at AEW, there's more opportunities to be in the spotlight. Obviously Becky Lynch has been there, done that at the top of her game at the WWE level, the highest level you can do in pro wrestling. There's just too many women superstars, and that's a good problem to have for the company. But like with Becky Lynch returning, finally got her shot at the title again. She kind of needed like a help, right? Like an injury to occur for Rhea Ripley to get that title run. It was a short-lived one because of what you mentioned. There goes a cat behind me, hanging out, Peanut. But maybe with CEO, what's her name again? Not Sasha Banks. Mercedes Moné, CEO. That's in my head a lot. Maybe there's something there for a rivalry, and then also being a star, on a consistent level for a year or two. But that's just me thinking, just in case there was a possibility there.
Look, I'm not trying to take shots or anything, but there's examples in the company of WWE now that have been in both places, and they can talk about what they think about both places. So I'm sure she could go to Jade Cargill, she could go to CM Punk, she can go to Cody Rhodes and be like, what's it like over there? Especially Jade, because Jade was the first woman that made that jump. So she could be like, Jade, what's it like over there? And you just don't know. You don't know what to expect. So when it comes to Becky, though, I don't know, like you would be flipping your family dynamic. And I feel like that's not something that she'd be willing to do. And I kind of learned, and I told Dan this a couple of years ago, I believe because at one point I remember when we would first watch, I would be like, why hasn't Shawn Michaels won a championship in a long time? Like, why doesn't Triple H win this, that? At one and The Undertaker, I used to wonder why The Undertaker wouldn't win belts, but then you think when you get to such a big point where you don't need a championship, you're still that big. That's when you've really made it. And I feel like Becky's at that point where she hasn't really needed the championship. And if you notice, this was just a stepping stone because as soon as Rhea got hurt, you couldn't just give Liv the championship. You needed to have her fight. And why not fight somebody that she had a kind of a rivalry with in the winter? And now she gets to take the belt off of Becky. And now it means a lot because she took her first championship off of Ronda Rousey, and now she took this one off of Becky Lynch. So two big superstars. She's taken the wins. Now it's about what can you do with Liv moving forward to keep her moving and to keep growing with her, because she's going to keep that championship until Rhea Ripley returns. We all know that. So that's going to be the huge thing there, but they need to do a great job of building Liv up and keep on doing what they're doing with her. Cause I thought they've done a great job. She's done a good job. She's thought things through, but the question is, you've seen Liv now talk to Dominic Mysterio. You've seen her talk to JD McDonough. You've seen her talk to Finn Balor. So where are we headed with all this? Like, is she going to be the one that takes over the Judgment Day ultimately? Or is she going to be in Judgment Day with all them? So that's kind of my question when it comes to that. What do you think is going to happen with the See, I don't know, because it kind of seems, so there's two different things with this. It seems like Damian Priest is destined to lose the championship to Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. It's in his hometown. It's in Scotland. But then today, MSG announced that they're going to be having at Madison Square Garden, Jey Uso against on Monday Night Raw, Jey Uso against Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Drew McIntyre commented, and I'm sorry for the language, the fuck? ? So Drew's kind of like, what the hell's going on here? So that's kind of the question about that. So Gilbert, Mimsy's asking if we saw that she kissed Dom. So the funny part is USA cut off. They did not show the kiss. So if you were watching Monday Night Raw, you didn't get to see the kiss.
It's not on my phone.
Yeah, it just cut off. So yeah, no, we did see it, Mimsy. That's why I'm saying Dom's one lucky guy, but he just got married in like February or March.
Oh yeah.
Like you're like, oh, you're already kissing Liv Morgan. He's one lucky son of a gun, to be honest.
Hey, by the way, that Eddie Guerrero mullet on Dominic Mysterio is coming in nice, man. I think it's flowing right now.
By the way, Dom put on his Instagram on Sunday that he was watching the Eddie Guerrero. A&E did a story on Eddie Guerrero, and he put that he was watching it. So obviously people went
and he
off
has
on
a mustache too, like a little part here, and then
he's looking. Watch the Eddie Guerrero Intercontinental Championship, Eddie Guerrero, and he looks a lot like him. But ultimately, oh, there you go. Oh my God, I actually thought that was Dom. But I definitely think that we're in an interesting part because SummerSlam is coming up, and you're starting to build. Obviously, Gunther and Nia Jax are going to have championship matches. Triple H announced. So now, obviously, moving forward, what is all that going to look like? We'll see. But definitely excited to see what happens. Gilbert, on the other side at AEW, they had Double or Nothing, one of their biggest pay-per-views, and obviously you mentioned MJF came back to AEW, and I just wanted to show you this real quick, Gilbert. He paid homage to Triple H. I don't know if you saw this in two ways. So this is the way he came out, and so he came out with the leather jacket. Yeah. And then here's where he made fun of The Rock. So they're saying
X-Pac in the back. Oh my, what a time.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a different time. But it was just funny because he literally, like, if you notice, he did hit the tanning booth kind of hard there, but he did come out with a jean jacket. He did have a tattoo where he said that
there's a lot, I feel like.
Vic, you don't have to put up the background. I'm going to show another clip right now, but he basically came out and said that that he had a tattoo that said I'm not going anywhere, or, oh no, bet on yourself, and it said AEW right here.
They even start making shirts too of that.
Yeah. So here's a tattoo. But it was so funny because fans were like, yeah, can you imagine when he has to laser it off in a couple of years? Because I'll give you my take on that, Vic. Again, you don't have to do that. I'm just gonna show a quick clip. Tony Khan, please don't come after us for me showing this clip, but listen to what he had to say, and there's something key in here, Gilbert. Listen to this. Here we go.
I don't need a New Japan or a Vince McMahon to make MJF because MJF made MJF.
So, Gilbert, I'm going to be honest. I like that MJF came back. There was at one point where he was a baby face. We need the anti-hero.
The tag team going on. He even turned into a tag team partner.
Exactly. With Adam Cole. So we don't need that. We need the actual MJF. Why did he say Vince McMahon if he knows that Vince McMahon is no longer in WWE? Why didn't he say Triple H?
Maybe it rhymes better when you have a line like that. Vince McMahon over Triple H.
He loves Triple H, Gilbert. That's his guy. I'm telling you.
That's how you're viewing it. I feel like he's kind of taking a couple of slights at him by wearing the jean jacket.
No. His mentor.
Doing it all by himself.
Is Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is his mentor. And Cody, yeah. I'm not saying that he's not going to stay at AEW. I'm just saying, why talk Vince McMahon? You don't need Vince McMahon. Why didn't you say Triple H? I don't need Triple H to make me big. I think ultimately he's going to end up at WWE. I think he is.
But he's only playing. He's playing that bit very strong.
Yeah, but he's only
people like me believe the other way.
He's only 27 years old.
Yeah,
he's gonna end up at WWE at some point.
So you're thinking like a 2-year contract, maybe something.
Yeah, 2-3 year contract, and then he hits free agency again. But at one point I would love to see him against a tribal chief. At one point I would love to see him against Seth Rollins. There's a lot of and by the way, going back to the WWE talk, Seth Rollins just re-up for multiple years. So that's another reason why I don't think, and I'm not saying that Becky's going to follow Seth in any way. I'm just saying for the family dynamic, I'm sure they love being on the road together and doing all that. But MJF, I'm excited that he's back like this. I want to see what he can do back as that kind of guy. That guy that hooked Gilbert Antonio Manzano in a couple of years ago when he got to go see him live.
Antonio Manzano.
Exactly. So when he hooked him a couple of years ago, that's the MJF that we're getting again. So I'm excited to see what that MJF brings. I think he's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to AEW. I think a lot of people are going to be excited to see that MJF back. But man, it's exciting to see what he did. The only thing that I did not like, and again, we're heading to that aspect again. So Mercedes Moné was not cleared for a while. She's been cleared. She's fighting. She had her first match for the Women's Championship. Obviously, she won it. And this is what she had to say after.
Wow.
So
she dropped too many WWEs in there, but Tony Khan, I think for the most part, liked it.
But why do you have to mention them? 1, 2, why does that sound like a PR stunt that they have to keep on saying, like, we're the best wrestle, this, that? Like, it all just seems hey, when you go out there, you have to.
She missed an opportunity to say we're the elite wrestle, but whatever.
Yeah, and I get that, but I just didn't like. I just thought it was a little bit too played out. I was kind of like, okay, whatever, like that's interesting. But lastly, Gilbert, I don't know if you saw any clip of what happened with Adam Copeland or Edge. I don't know if you saw what he did, but okay. So he was in a match yesterday, and I can't remember who he wrestled against, but he was supposed to. So he went up to the top of the. Of the steel cage, and I don't agree with whatever this guy wrote on his tweet. I'm gonna try and get past. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. So this is what Adam Copeland did yesterday. You could see it right here. I don't know what. So look, boom. I don't know if you see Gilbert. He didn't go through the table. He lands standing up. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did midair that he just completely mess it up. Vic, you don't have to put up the thing right now. Edge did, or sorry, Adam
Didn't he have
Cole
something similar like that at the WrestleMania in LA? I'm sorry, I forget.
He had something similar, but this is him talking about it today.
You know, my brain forgets what my body always seems to remember a little late is that I'm 50 and I need to make better choices. So my body pulled the emergency brake on me the other night, and I ended up fracturing my tibia, which is going to require surgery. Don't know the time frame on that yet. Ruby's birthday's Friday, and I really want to enjoy that and focus on.
Ruby is his daughter. So tibias usually take anywhere from 4 to 7 months.
Time to retire, Edge. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's up there in age. It sucks because I love watching Edge compete, but that was basically he wrestled Malachi Black. Thank you, Mimsy. But Jorge Jesus. But I definitely think that Edge is kind of at the end of the rope here, and it's been when I remember the day that he came out at the Royal Rumble. Kobe had passed away. It was kind of a dark day, and then he comes back after 9 years, and it was awesome. But definitely interesting to see kind of how AEW bounces back without Edge or Adam Copeland for a while. But yeah, Gilbert, that's all I have on the wrestling world. Let's head over to UFC 302. Islam versus Poirier, Strickland versus Costa. Gilbert, what are your thoughts on this on UFC 302?
Yeah, well, first of all, those first two fights or the main two fights are very exciting, and we were there when Dana White announced it for UFC 300, and we were all like, "Oh man, you got Poirier and Islam, and you got Strickland and Paulo Costa." And like you were satisfied when those two fights were announced, and then like, "Oh, and Conor McGregor is coming back in June." I was like, "Whoa!" So a loaded schedule in June for the UFC.
He was partying it up, by the way, over the weekend.
Conor McGregor, yeah, I've seen the videos of him trying to stay away from his new beer or pints that he's doing out there. So he's trying his hardest, but I don't know if he's actually going to succeed. But like the storyline for 302 is for Dustin Poirier, who might be close to retirement. He's been very close to being, I could be wrong here, I'm pretty sure he has never been undisputed champion in the UFC. He's been interim, I think that one time, but he's never had that the full gold around his waist. And to do it, another opportunity, he might be I forget, maybe 0-3 or whatever in championship fights like that. So when he's fighting Islam, the best of the best, like the best way to go out, maybe carry that belt and then retire, or you lose, you're just saying, you know what, I've done everything I can. I've been at the top of my game. It just hasn't been enough. Like, he's going to be like the Allen Iverson or Charles Barkley of the UFC if he can win that, undisputed belt. But he's an entertaining fighter. He beat Conor McGregor twice out of 3 times. So Hall of Fame fighter, but could it be the end of Dustin Poirier? And I like watching him fight. Hopefully he gets the job done for that storybook ending, but we'll see.
So who do you have winning that one?
Like I want to go with Poirier just for the story. And honestly, for the sport to do that, it's UFC, where a lot of upsets happen. You never know on any given night. Hey, but maybe for the sake to avoid the curse for Poirier, I'll go with Islam, who is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet.
Can you imagine if he gets him for a guillotine and it actually works and he taps him out?
Islam gave him a lot of credit for that, what he has in his arsenal, and that could be one of them too.
Who do you got, Strickland or Douglas Costa?
Paulo,
sorry. Keep on thinking of the soccer player.
I don't know who that is, but these are two guys who are at a crossroads in their careers, exciting fighters. They're kind of more like gatekeepers. We're like, well, obviously Strickland had that one fight. Who did he upset? I'm already forgetting, but he had the belt, and then he lost it to the South African there. I'm blanking on his name too, but Strickland is an exciting fighter who is a little. There you go. So I think Strickland might be mad.
He beat Adesanya.
Was it? Oh yeah, I'm blanking. Yeah. And then he got DDP. It was supposed to be Adesanya and DDP, and then there was a controversial ending. But I think DDP won that fight. I think he did too, Fernando. But Strickland he's a dangerous fighter, so I think he beats Paulo Costa.
I got Strickland and I got Dustin winning.
Okay.
America.
All
Got
right.
America winning this weekend. By the way, speaking of America, have you seen that supposed card that the Saudis want to do between America versus Mexico for boxing?
Oh yeah, I think. Do you know the fights? Because I think I saw Canelo Crawford,
Yeah, I saw
Pitbull
that one too.
Shakur,
Yeah,
Caleb,
and Stevenson. No,
yeah, no Pitbull,
yeah,
yeah, Stevenson, yeah.
yeah.
And then what's the other one? Caleb Plant against Jaime Munguia.
There you
And
go.
I went 2-1 Mexico. Shakur beats Pitbull, Jaime beats Caleb, Canelo beats Crawford. Because
Ooh,
Crawford is just too small.
yeah, interesting. I actually would like that. Gilbert, obviously. Oh, there you go, Gilbert. Question for you.
Chris
When
Gass.
is, yeah,
I'm not sure. He's like, how we were talking about Paulo and Strickland, entertaining fighter, maybe not the best of the best, but anytime they fight, they're exciting. And it's been a minute for Gastelum. I remember that epic fight against Adesanya, but I honestly don't know. We need to get our friend Adam Hill to kind of give us some of these, deeper nuggets in the UFC world to jump on. But I would love to see Gastelum fight again.
let me ask you a question. So real quick, when we're talking to UFC, the interim heavyweight champion is Tim.
No, Tom.
Tom.
Aspinall.
Yeah. Little Daniel thinks that John Jones is scared of him. Do you feel like he's ducking him or no?
I don't think so. I think maybe John Jones at the point of his career where he might be down to his last
Money.
2 fights, and get the money. So who do you want to see fight for John Jones, Pereira or Aspinall? It's gonna be Pereira. You get the bag there, but then again, he's trying to fight Stipe Miocic, and who hasn't fought in 3 years, and
that one
because you feel like it's his right to get that fight because they were supposed to fight before he got hurt. So
yeah,
I don't know. You know how he is. He's kind of a mixed bag. You don't know what you're gonna get with him.
but I feel like that's how a lot of fighters they're just a mixed bag. You just never know what way it's gonna point. Gilbert, obviously this weekend, boxing, Deontay Wilder and Dimitri Bivol fight this weekend. Wilder's fighting Zhang and Bivol's fighting Zinad. So what do you think? Do you think Zhang will be too much for Deontay, or do you feel like Deontay ends up taking this one?
Well, Wilder's coming off that very sluggish fight against Joseph Parker, and I thought that was the end of Wilder, but here he is again fighting. I don't think that fight was that long ago, maybe like 6 months ago. So maybe Wilder feels like, okay, that wasn't the best of me. I don't want to be the old guy now, the gatekeeper or whatever. So him coming back this soon tells me a lot. But I think now that Wilder's a little older and he can't rely on on skill, and he's all about the power, and you have that one move at this age in his career, at this stage, like I don't know if he still has it. Hey, but power is the last thing that goes away when it comes to being older fighters. But you need other things to set up the power when you're older, and he doesn't have that. So maybe that's why he lost to Joseph Parker, and we'll see. But I think Wilder could get him. The guy he's fighting is definitely a tough opponent. But when Wilder is in his prime, he'll definitely want to wipe the floor with this guy. But we'll see if he has that power. But again, with Wilder, he's never had, the jab, the footwork, the counter game, the combination. It's all, these haymakers of Wilder. We know what you get with him. But Fernando, the thing about this card, though, it was going to be a really exciting card because they had a great main event with a great undercard. Those Saudis, man, in boxing, they're trying to get it right. And it's supposed to be Dimitri Bivol against Arthur Beterbiev, and Beterbiev got hurt. So obviously they're not household names, but if you're a boxing fan, Bivol and Beterbiev are one of the top 10 pound for pound fighters on the planet, and they're going to fight in Saudi Arabia. He got hurt. But the good thing about this card, Bivol's still fighting, and nobody's going to win the fight. But I saw promoters working together, which is rare. When you got money from Saudi Arabia coming in, everybody's happy, right? You got Top Rank, you got Matchroom, and you got Frank Warren's promotional company from UK. And I guess Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn did something called 5-on-5. Pick 5 fighters from your stable against my fighters of my stable, and whoever has we were talking about the Mexico versus USA, similar but with promotional companies. So hey, it's bragging rights for Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, 2 of the biggest names in the UK, and that's why you got this 5-on-5 series with the main event with Bivol. But that's a very loaded card. It kind of lost some luster when Beterbiev left, Hey, but I'm excited about this 5-on-5 tournament series.
Yeah, no. So you got Bivol winning this weekend, obviously.
Yeah, I'm guessing he'll knock him out.
Real quick, what did you make of Bob Arum calling out the referees or the scorecards for Taylor versus Cantrell?
Well, Bob Arum was a character. He's been with Top Rank for like 60 years now, Fernando. He was promoting, was it Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali and all these fights back in the day. And he's still out there promoting, which is talking on the microphone for Top Rank. And he pretty much said that he's never going to take a U.S. fighter to the UK. He might have forgot about it by now. Who knows? But, it's Bob Arum. He always has a problem with the judges or problem with, somebody who say his fighter got screwed over. He's going to talk about it and mention it. But, it's just funny watching the video, seeing Eddie Hearn, like, you're really going to talk right now, man? And, maybe it's time for Bob Arum to drop the microphone.
Damn. All right. Speaking of that, let us bring on Victor, producer, to talk a little rapid fire. All right. What's up, Vic? How are you doing?
Oh, not much, man. Glad to be here. You guys had some good conversations there. It's pretty cool to hear about Bob Arum and remember him, as you talked about. He's been in the game for a long time. He did all those classic fights in the 70s as well. So
yeah,
shout out to Bob Arum for still being out here promoting fights.
Hopefully I'm not working when I'm 84 or 85.
I still remember when Tyson, I can't remember who Tyson Fury beat, but he was singing Bye Bye Miss American Pie, and he put the microphone to Bob Arum, and Bob Arum sang it. I was like, Jesus. I'm like, get the microphone away from this guy. But all right, let's do a little rapid fire here, Vic.
All right, Gilbert. So you won last week. Are you going to go first again? All right.
Yes.
Let's start off. It looks like my questions got changed around here. So, should the Minnesota Vikings consider trading Justin Jefferson? Reportedly, they shopped Jefferson during the draft, and they called the New York Giants about a potential trade for Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, this was an interesting nugget that Mike Florio dropped on, I guess it's podcast or something.
Well, no, but it wasn't Mike Florio. It was somebody from the Minnesota Times or
from Pioneer.
Pioneer.
Oh, I thought it was Mike Florio, and then
he aggregated like he does a lot of
things.
Okay,
never mind then. Then shout out to the guy from the Pioneer Press. It might have been, I'm blanking on his name. He's a good guy. From the Pioneer Press.
By the way, did you see what Adam did? Speaking of aggregators, to Dove Kleinman yesterday?
Oh, yeah. No, I did not.
Oh, so Dove said that Mark Davis was having a kid with a 28-year-old, a 27-year-old, and then he put what she posted on her Instagram. Oh, he quote tweeted and tweeted it over him, and I was like, oh, I'm retweeting this. I don't give a shit. So it was pretty funny to see Adam do that.
Yeah, and then Pat McAfee ran with it and then had to apologize on
Monday Night Raw.
Today. Yeah.
He said on Monday Night Raw it was JD McDonough versus Braun Strowman. And he's like, for all you that don't think that JD McDonough can beat Braun Strowman, 70-year-old Mark Davis is having a kid at 20 with a 28-year-old. And then today he obviously issued an apology about it or whatever. But I mean, that wrestling's kind of different. But I think Mike Freeman wrote an article saying that that Pat needs to have better journalism integrity. I'm like, he's not a journalist though. Like, he's just an ex-player talking head. I mean, so
at least apologized. Most people would just
brush it over. Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like there's different rules when you're like covering boxing or wrestling.
Yeah,
I guess you can't cross the worlds, I guess.
But and Pat's done a really good job of it on Monday Night Raw. Like, he's fun to listen to, and just the dumb stuff that him and Michael Cole, like, he's kind of revitalized Michael Cole's career in a sense. Like, he's made Michael Cole like fun to listen to, and Michael Cole now talks shit to wrestlers. Like, he's like, what's this idiot doing out here with Dominic Mysterio and stuff? So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think ex-players don't follow that. Like, it's not like they sit down and look at the books of journalism like we did when we were in school and all that stuff. They're not going to look through all that stuff.
Yeah, even us here sometimes we're not too professional. That's why we have Dan and Diego. Is he here? But going back to the question here, credit to the St. Paul Pioneer Press for getting this scoop. And again, you don't know which side it's coming from the team, from the player. Maybe it's a kind of a team tactic or a player tactic. There's always some kind of motive for why you release something like this. And I don't know. I wouldn't doubt the credibility, but it's also more like the motives behind it, right? But if this is true, and say the team was for sure trying to shop Justin Jefferson, it makes my prediction better of them going at 3-14 or having a crappy season. And honestly, if you have a rookie quarterback, put it this way, if you're shopping Justin Jefferson, I got many things, and maybe I should have kind of wrote it down. One, they screwed up the contract negotiations. Why didn't you sign the guy last year? Now the contracts are going up. CeeDee Lamb's trying to get paid. Jamar Chase trying to get paid. Brandon, are you guys going to get paid? If I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm sitting back. I'm better than all those guys. You pay me after it goes up. You had your opportunity last year, and you made me play on my third-year contract or fourth-year contract. So that's what you get. Then you trade your quarterback, Kirk Cousins, and you have to roll out with Sam Darnold and freaking JJ McCarthy, the fifth quarterback taken in the draft. If I'm Jefferson, I'm sitting back again. And then number 3, they were trying to trade up for Malik Neighbors. What were you trying to do? Pair Sam Darnold with Malik Neighbors? Yeah, that's going to go well for you. What are we doing here? You trade up to go draft the quarterback like a Drake May, like a Jaden Daniels, not sit back for JJ McCarthy. So Vikings are having a terrible offseason. Yeah, I don't care about Vikings fans coming at me. Yeah, you spent some money on Jonathan Grenard, who had one breakout season. Whatever. It's going to be terrible, and this confirms it to me.
So, should the Vikings? I look, and I said it last week.
So, but that was I just wanted to kind of.
No.
And no, don't trade him.
I got a point taken off last week for not answering the correct question.
I just needed a rat. Okay.
No. So I think we're gonna start seeing this, and I mentioned it last week, that we're starting to get to that point where teams are gonna start looking at the receiver and being like, you know what, adios. Goodbye. We can find somebody else that can produce. He won't produce at the same level, but they were literally going to just, in a sense, go from one LSU receiver to a cheaper one, and one that's younger and one that's, I'm not going to say more explosive because we don't know how he's going to be at the NFL level. So I don't blame the Vikings for doing it, but I think we're going to get to that point now where you see the Cincinnati Bengals, they now have 2 contracts to worry about when it comes to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So now I believe that we're going to start seeing this with the receivers, where big time receivers aren't going to get paid as much as they think they're going to get paid. I'm sure, because Justin already denied one contract, right? They were willing to pay him like 30, and he said he wanted more than that. So we're starting to get to that point where teams aren't going to be paying these guys that much money. So this is only the beginning, in my opinion, but I think they should try and trade him. And maybe it just depends on if Kevin O'Connell knows that he has a long leash and he's going to have a couple of years to kind of fix this. And maybe he says, you know what, we're good with Addison moving forward. We'll bring in some other receiver help, and we'll get some draft picks for Justin Jefferson. So I do think they should consider trading him if they think that they're not going to be contenders in the next couple of years, kind of the way Gilbert predicted that they won't be this year.
Yeah, Fernando, you're right, and you answered the question, so shout out to you. But I'll say this. They've done this, guys. I mean, they went from Stephon Diggs to Justin Jefferson. I mean, and then now they have Addison there.
They didn't win any playoff games, I'll tell you that.
Exactly. And so why are you, one of the things I've always been told is, why are you paying $20 million and over, or even 30 now, for a wide receiver when you're not going to win? Like we've seen, the Super Bowl winners, they don't have, receivers that are getting paid $20 or $30 million. So yeah, I'm with you, Fernando, on this one. All right. So on today's episode feature the Super Bowl.
The last one was the Rams, right? Cooper Kupp had already been paid, or he got paid that offseason?
No, he got paid after.
Okay, so Tampa Bay with Mike Evans then was the last one where there was.
But it wasn't like the massive contract. Like he got more money recently this offseason.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Fernando. Today's episode featured the Super Bowl teams from last season, the Chiefs and 49ers. Let's start with the back-to-back champs. What's more likely to happen is they become the first team to win this in the Super Bowl era. Remember, in the Super Bowl era, because I have to make sure, because people will come after us if we don't say that the Packers did a three-peat, but that was going into the Super Bowl era. And then, or they don't win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years, Fernando. So let me repeat again. Do they become the first team to three-peat in the Super Bowl era, or they don't win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years.
They don't win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years.
Wow.
I think at one point the wheels are going to fall off. I think Andy Reid's kind of at that point where he's like, well, I've solidified my being in the conversation of one of the greatest head coaches of all time. All he needed was a Super Bowl ring. Now he has 3. His team just keeps on getting filled up with so many distractions that at one point, I remember last year, at one point I saw him and he was kind of like, and you're kind of like, okay, maybe he's kind of starting to feel a little bit of all of this and everything going on. Then obviously he has the stuff with his sons on the side that's happened before in the past. So I'm sure he's kind of at that point where he's like, you know what, I'm going to give it a couple of years. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs don't win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years rather than them three-peat. I just think that you're going to, at one point, Kelsey's going to retire pretty soon probably. He saw his brother just do it. I'm sure he's going to be quick to follow as well, especially if he has other activities outside of football, the way he's been in all these commercials and all that stuff and all the opportunities that he's going to get pretty soon. Because I mean, I'm no Diddy. The guy's a handsome guy. I'm sure pretty soon Hollywood's going to start calling him and they're going to try and get him in movies and all this stuff. So I think that the Chiefs are closer to the end of their dynasty in a sense, and they are still continuing it, and I think the offensive line has also gotten worse. I don't think they're as good as they were even last year. So I think there's some factors there that some people don't see, but I don't think their team is as strong as it has been in years past.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that notion about this team not being as strong as years past, but I also find it very difficult for them to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. I think they'll get to the playoffs and maybe they'll hold like they flame out because of all the mental burdens, and maybe you're right, Fernando. Losing the Jersey sneak could be something, or maybe just lack of motivation. Chris Jones got paid, like you mentioned earlier. Maybe he's not the same fear Stevens to tackle that we've seen in the last couple of years. So I'm expecting something where like, okay, they're going to get close, they fall short, and that ends the first chapter of Patrick Mahomes. And remember Tom Brady, where he won the 3 Super Bowls early and then went a long, like almost 10 years before winning the 4th one. They lost to the Giants twice in the Super Bowl. Then he kind of reinvented himself in the back of his career to get 3 more with New England, got the 7th one with Tampa Bay. So I think this might be at the end of the first act. Maybe Kelsey retires, they get close, but they fall short, and then you go through some kind of adjustment years where they lose in the wild card, losing the division round, and then maybe Andy Reid leaves too, and it's like, all right, Mahomes, you want to be in the conversation with Tom Brady? Well, Tom Brady had to do it over and over again with different kind of core groups and characters. Yeah, he had Bill Belichick the whole time. You might not have the same luxury with Andy Reid there, but you got to go through some kind of these struggles to prove that you are one of the best of all time. So I think they might go to a couple 2 or 3 years where they don't win it, but they'll be close every single year for as long as Mahomes is around. How about that?
I like it, but what is your answer here?
Isn't that obvious? I just said they're going to go through a whole phase of maybe not winning for a couple years.
Okay, so you're saying they're going to win the 3-peat, or they're not going to win it?
No, I said they're going to come close. Kelsey retires.
Gotcha.
Nobody listens to me on the show, huh?
Yeah.
And then go through what Tom Brady had to go through where 9-10 years come around. And oh, crap, you haven't won a Super Bowl just yet.
El sufrido.
Yeah, and the reason I posted this question was because of that, because I went back and I looked at Tom Brady, and after they won back-to-back Super Bowls, they didn't win for a while, and I think that's what everybody is looking for at this point. So it says Mr. Dan and Dago says he doesn't think.
You had to say it on all 4 of our YouTube channels, Dan.
I think when you put one comment, I think it all shoots out from all 4.
Yeah, you can change it. I'll show you how to do it, Dan. All right, so I'll give you the point there, Gilbert. You're right. I mean, I think it's going to take a little while for them. I don't think they're going to win they'll 3-peat, or they might. I mean, who knows? But
whoa, wait. So what did you pick that they won't? You did the same thing as me.
Yeah. I just had to give you a different answer or a different response. Same answer.
Okay, I thought for some. Yeah, I didn't listen to you this time. I thought you had said.
Why would I talk about Tom Brady for 9 years?
No. Yeah. I thought you were saying that they were going to 3-peat, and I was going to be like, wait.
I didn't say the words they won't.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I did say they're going to lose in the playoffs this year.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to make sure. I was like, okay. All right. So the next one is moving on to the 49ers now. What's more likely to happen? The 49ers win the Super Bowl in the next 3 years, or Kyle Shanahan wins the Super Bowl as a coach of another team?
Oh, wow. I'll go with the easy one here. I think the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan will eventually get it done. Like I'm gonna say that if they don't do it this year, then maybe it never happens. So maybe I'm picking the 49ers to win the whole damn Super Bowl. But I don't want to put myself in that I guess in that corner just yet. But I will say clearly Shanahan and the 49ers will find the way to win the Super Bowl. Maybe this year or next year, but I don't think they get to a point where he leaves, wins the Super Bowl somewhere else, and it's kind of like Andy Reid, right, with the Eagles, and then he leaves, goes to the Chiefs. I think they'll make it work. They know what they have in Shanahan. He's like Vic. I remember like they gave him a couple of years where he wasn't making the playoffs, 3 or 4 years, because they just know how smart this guy is, how great of a scheme designer he is, play caller, things like that. So I think they hold on to him for many years to come.
Gilbert, do you know who Sexy Red is?
Some rapper, yeah.
Oh, I guess she's at NXT tonight.
Okay.
Sorry.
I answered. I'm still young.
Damn it.
You don't even know.
No, I don't like either one of these. I don't think either one of these is
about the
gonna
rapper.
happen. No. I've seen her before. I now I remembered who she is. I just don't see. Okay, this is the reason why I don't like it. I'm not a big Brock Purdy believer, so I'm not a big like, oh, I think Brock Purdy can get it done. And then Kyle Shanahan hasn't shown me in any 3 of his Super Bowls that he could get it done either way. Like it's like as soon as the fourth quarter comes, it's like they shut off the stadium lights that they did for that Super Bowl with the Harbaugh brothers, and all the lights just point at Kyle Shanahan. Everybody's watching to see what he's going to do, and it doesn't come to fruition. So I really think that I'll say Kyle Shanahan wins it for another team. I think we're kind of getting at the point where I'm sure the 49ers ownership is going to get frustrated. They're going to be like, well, what the hell? We haven't won one since Steve Young, and we've had Colin Kaepernick, we've had Jimmy Garoppolo, and we've had Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl, and neither one of those times have we won. We were, 5-0, and now we're 5-3. So what the hell is going on now? Why haven't we won? And I think there's going to be frustration if they don't win one within the next few years. So I'll say Kyle Shanahan wins it for another team that's maybe ready to go and just needs that head coach that playmaker to get going. But I just think that this is a very tough. I think this is tougher than the Chiefs one, just because I'm not a big believer in Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. So when I was looking, the reason I came up with this one was because I was doing research on both the 49ers and the Chiefs as to kind of prepare for this episode. And you know who didn't win in their first stop and then ended up winning because they found their quarterback? And that was, Andy Reid. Andy Reid went through the same thing. He couldn't win in Philadelphia. And finally, they just said, you know what? We're going to let you go. And then they went through their little lull there. And then Andy Reid found his spot with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think I'm going to give you the point there, Fernando, because you found it eventually where I wanted one of you guys to go. And that was, Kyle Shanahan reminds me a lot of the early part of Andy Reid's career with the Eagles. And I think that's where we're going to probably end up getting. I don't see them winning. And I'll be, I'll say, that I was wrong, but I just don't see it with the 49ers just because what you just said is Brock Purdy. Are they going to pay him? There's already questions about that too. So, but we'll talk about that later
We'll
on.
save this video for February when you guys are both wrong.
Last year there was different points at the beginning. Fans were like, pay him. When they went through that 3-game losing streak, don't pay him, then pay him. And then after the Super Bowl,
not so
don't pay
sure.
him. So it's going to be a roller coaster ride for Brock Purdy, the same way it was for Jimmy G. And that's just what you're going to get out of these guys. But yeah, no, I agree. I don't know if they have enough to make it to to win the Super Bowl, to be honest.
We'll see, but I think that they're in that window where it's about to close. Especially, we'll see what they figure out with Brock Purdy. All right, Fernando, you're up 2-1 here. A couple of weeks ago, Jared Goff joined Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts as the only quarterbacks making over $50 million a season. Which of these 5 quarterbacks will win the Super Bowl first?
If you don't say Herbert, your brother's gonna come after you.
No, it's not about that. Look, Joe Burrow and Jalen have already had their opportunity and they didn't win. That's not saying that they can't come back and win it. I think Lamar's opportunity was this year because they've lost a lot. Their offensive line isn't as good as it was. The reason why I'm gonna go Justin Herbert is one thing that is clear to me, that Jim Harbaugh coming back, he's not messing around this time. And Jim Harbaugh wants that Super Bowl. He already won a college national championship, and that was with trials and tribulations. His first 3 years at Michigan, they did not do well. And as soon as his brother was able to help him and he sent him McDonald and he sent him Minter, everything changed for them. They were able to kind of get it together. They recruited really well, and they were able to win the national championship. Now Jim is back in the NFL. You can tell how hungry he is for a Super Bowl. Again, I think this is going to be a 2-year project before they can contend for a Super Bowl. But I think that out of all those quarterbacks, I think Justin Herbert is going to be the one that what is it? Which he's 5 quarter? Yeah, wins. Yeah, I think Justin will be the first one that wins it. And then obviously, I don't know what happens to Harbaugh after he wins one. I don't know if he's like, oh, I'm one and done and I'm good to go, or if he's going to want to win one. Who knows? But I do think that Jim Harbaugh did return to win a Super Bowl. And again, if he wins one with this franchise, you have to this franchise has been a losing franchise for over 60 years. If he ends up taking them to a Super Bowl, then you really have to give him all the credit in the world, because this franchise has stepped over themselves multiple times. They've done a lot of stuff that you're just like, what the Marlon McCree, a lot of different things that you're just like, anything that can happen will happen, and it's happened to this franchise. So I'll go Justin Herbert with that one.
No way. I'll give you a response right here, but honestly, I would have gone Joe Burrow and not think twice about it, because maybe the simple answer, who's the best quarterback from this group here, it's Joe Burrow to me. But health has been an issue. You can't assume anymore. So the next step I'm going to go to is best team, best surrounding. And what I've seen Jalen Hurts go toe-to-toe against Patrick Mahomes on the biggest stage. And I get that they lost last year and they were terrible. But just because of one collapse, like they went 10-1 to start the year, we just all of a sudden forgot about the Eagles. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is Justin Herbert. I'm not saying he's Joe Burrow. Maybe not even Lamar Jackson, but they have the best team. They know how to get to the playoffs. They know how to win. I get Jason Kelsey's gone. I actually thinking about that. It does kind of scare me a little bit. But you still got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, a pretty good defense with a lot of pieces in the secondary that are much better now. So they could get back to it. And I get Nick Sirianni almost got fired, but because he just went to the Super Bowl last year because of Howie Roseman's issues of not building the defense the right way, we're all going to forget that Nick Sirianni went to the Super Bowl. Now I'm going to go with Howie Roseman getting Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Bryce Huff. You got Jalen Carter. Both sides look good. So Saquon Barkley with a good offensive line. I get no Jason Kelsey, but Jalen Hurts is well equipped to get back to the big game and maybe beat Mahomes again.
Yeah,
he didn't answer the question. He didn't answer the question.
Jalen Hurts, what do you mean?
He didn't answer the question. No. He said, and maybe beat Patrick Mahomes. Equipped to maybe.
No, I'm saying maybe Chiefs get to that Super Bowl. I don't care who he plays, but he's gonna win a Super Bowl before these guys.
I'm gonna go with Gilbert here in terms of he has the more talent right now. We don't know.
I know it's hurting Vic. He's like, I wish he was went Joe Burrow or Lamar.
Yeah, and I also want to get another question in as well. But but Gilbert did make the better argument here in terms of the talent around and what we've seen Howie Roseman. We know what Jim Harbaugh is capable of. We just haven't seen it with the Chargers yet. And we know what to expect from until things change with the Chargers. Then I'm going to give him the benefit of that's one of the things I've learned from Gilbert is he won't jump, a ship. Like I was on him about Patrick Mahomes, and he crowned him like 2 years in, and I was like, whoa, you never do this. So I'll give him I'll give him this for right now. But as you talked about, Fernando, you're right. I mean, I think also with Jim Harbaugh, you know what you're getting, and it's going to take some time. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a process for Charger fans to kind of get used to it, because it's gonna come, but it's gonna take a little bit of patience from Charger fans as well. And I think a lot of people are already trying to, jump into the bandwagon, a little bit too quickly, especially this season. And we'll see what happens. But in terms of right now, I think the Eagles are and Jalen Hurts have that where they're primed to win a Super Bowl, and if they don't do it,
just to make sure, Victor, that would be your pick too from those names you mentioned.
yes. And I'm, because of what you guys have mentioned with the Bengals are cheap, and Tyler Dragon brought it up in the Super Bowl, and we got a bunch of comments from people saying, "Hey, that's the old Bengals. They paid Joe Burrow, but are they going to pay those wide receivers?" You've already seen Hendrickson saying that he wants to be traded as well. I mean, we don't know how long Lou Aromo, how do you say Aromo is going to be there as well. They got lucky that he didn't go and take over a team. So maybe he becomes someone like Steve Spagnuolo and he stays there for a while with the Chiefs. But I mean, with the Bengals as well. But I'm with you. I think the Eagles, just because they've been able to, although I'm not a big fan, as you talked about, of Howie Roseman and what he's done, I just think he gets way too much credit. And sometimes, look, things work out in your favor, and he's been able to do so. And I think he learned his lesson. I'm still kind of questioning what with those linebackers, like you said, but that's for another day. All right, guys, we're tied up 2-2 here as we go to our fifth question. So 3 of the big names that moved to new teams during the offseason were Kirk Cousins, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley. Which of these 3 players will have the biggest impact on their team this season?
You said Kirk Cousins, Saquon. What was the other name?
And Derrick Henry with the Ravens.
Well, it has to be Kirk Cousins. Like I don't know. The running backs are old. I'm gonna maybe regret doubting the machine that is Derrick Henry. But Saquon gets hurt a lot. I know I just made a case for the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. Maybe I'm going to contradict myself here. But it's got to be the quarterback, right? He's going to be a lot on your plate. And then unless you have Michael Penix Jr. taking his job, which would be chaos all around for the Atlanta Falcons. But you got Bijan, you got Drake London, you have Kyle Pitts. You would think that he's going to make them better, right? So I'm going to go with Kirk here. And I actually kind of I did pick that the Falcons would win the division. So I'm expecting a good year from Kirk Cousins. They blew an opportunity to get better defensively by not using number 8 pick on a defensive player. That's a different story. But I think in terms of impact, it's got to be the quarterback position. I'm going to go with Kirk.
So Gilbert just took the easy way out. I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry might, because of the way that the Ravens run their offense, obviously, Lamar's a threat to take off and run, and I know fans always get mad when people say that, or national people say that, or whatever, but it's the truth. Lamar does do his fake handoffs, takes off running, so now you have the threat of that, and I think Derrick Henry might see less work, but he might see more production out of it, just because I believe that the threat of what Lamar can do with the ball in his hands, I think people will get nervous about that, and I think Derrick will show exactly that Tennessee was not misusing him, but he was so good, so productive for so many years, but he had to stay in Tennessee. I mean, a lot of those teams wouldn't have made I remember a couple of years ago, Derrick was the reason why they beat Miami. He was the reason why they beat Baltimore in the playoffs. So I think Derrick Henry is going to be the one that shows the impact. I think he'll show he still has life, and he'll show that he still has a little bit of juice. So I'm going to go Derrick Henry in that new in Baltimore. I think it'll be a good dynamic for both sides.
Fernando, you hit it right on the head there. And, I'm going to give you the win here, and I'm going to explain why. Gilbert, you're right. I mean, the quarterback is the most important position in football. But why would you go and draft a guy, if you thought he was a guy? We don't know if he's going to come back from his Achilles. We're talking as of May. And Fernando, to your point, one of the reasons that we all thought that the Ravens were going to beat the Chiefs was because they were going to run the ball. They didn't do that in the AFC Championship game. You better run the ball with Derrick Henry if you went out there and got him. So and they got rid of two of the running backs. They're now with the Chargers. So I think he's going to have the biggest impact in terms of.
He's like 50 in running back years. Come on, Vic.
This guy.
Yeah, but he hasn't. Like, we keep saying that, and yet he keeps producing. I know eventually he's gonna pop a tire here and there, but I just don't think they're gonna abuse him during the regular season. I think his impact is gonna come in the postseason, and they're gonna use him there. So that's the reason why I'm giving Fernando the win here.
Appreciate it, Vic. We'll have you back in a little bit. Again, always great with those rapid fire questions. Always make me thinking. But without further ado,
let's taking notes on some of the manure I've been hearing. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna knock two birds out with one stone. So here we go.
Let's go.
Get this going real quick. The fact that you think Jalen Hurts is gonna win a Super Bowl, you must be smoking that good cook, because that is absolute horse manure.
Their team won 5 games last year. Come on.
You're talking about last year. Okay, what did the Eagles do? They did the same thing the Chargers did.
They won 10 games in the first 11 weeks.
And you know what's the difference?
I lost to Baker Mayfield, Dan.
Get out of here. And let me tell you something. You want to talk about weapons for him. Where was he in the Super Bowl? What was the deciding factor in the Super Bowl, Gilberto? Tell me.
The kickers?
The fact that he fumbled the football and gave up a touchdown.
His Super Bowl. Yeah, okay.
The fact that he fumbled the football and the defense scored a touchdown. Shout out, Mimsy. Good to see you. Dennis, shout out with the comments. By the way, even Dennis knows. Tell him, Dennis. Tell him, Dennis. Tell his ass. But you have to understand, okay? I'm gonna knock out. This is my other story. I'm gonna knock out in this same segment. You can't back the Ravens. Why? For the same reason Jalen Hurts won't win a Super Bowl. They're uncomfortable in the pocket. We've seen that before. I keep saying you keep these guys in the pocket and make them throw.
You talk about the Super Bowl. Hurts was in the pocket and going toe-to-toe with Mahomes. He did fumble. Okay, I get it. But he was throwing in that game. Come on.
Yeah, he was throwing
more than Lamar Jackson has done in a playoff game.
What was he doing? Oh, here. AJ Brown's there somewhere.
Hey, he's still slinging it. I don't care how he's doing it.
The fact is, both offenses' success is in the same chemistry or whatever you want to call it. Sorry, mathematical equation. It's in the same equation. You have to run the football and do not put the game in Lamar's hands, in Jalen Hurts' hands. You've seen it. I don't even know what we're wasting time on this for. Last year, there was a game, I can't remember who it was against, I can't remember if it was in the playoff game or what, but they were bringing pressure like a mother.
It was Tampa.
He was just throwing it outside. The middle of the field was wide open.
He only scored 9 points in that game, Dan.
9 points? What are we even talking about? And I understand, okay? This is why I hate the nerds in your profession and all the other ones who think they're in your profession on Twitter, because, yes, when you look at the board, Chargers won 5 games, Ravens won 10, Eagles won 10, who cares? It doesn't matter. Look at the tape. The tape doesn't lie. I need to make sure. I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah, I've been watching
the tape. Does not lie. The tape does not lie.
It's college football.
The tape does not lie.
He's coming redder and redder every week.
The tape does not lie. When you watch the tape on these guys, they struggle. They struggle. It's for the Eagles, for instance, last year, it was an ugly 10-game win. And after I told you that supposedly the Ravens were all big and bad, Mr. over there can't repeat, scatter to west, right, tight, F left, 372, Y stick, Z spot, can't repeat it, telling me that the Chargers have no chance against the Ravens. And then again, I understand it's the offseason.
Let me test you then.
I wasn't done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I reclaim my time. They go into that game. They're held 10 points through 3 quarters. You both know, being in the building and knowing all those people, how dysfunctional that defense was. And that highly dysfunctional defense held him to 10 points in 3 games. After that, I knew those.
Well, you keep going off of last year when your team was worse last year. There's different characters, different coaches, right? So
same story. I've
okay,
seen this
you know
before.
what? I'll back off a little bit. Obviously the question is more like who's going to get it first. It could be next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line. Let Harbaugh build that roster and be a winning franchise. I would not be surprised.
I will bet you. Okay, I already have a bet going that beer and wings. Chargers make the playoffs next year. I will bet you. Who's the list? It was Jalen, Lamar, Burrow,
Jackson,
and
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. Yeah.
Get that out of here. That
would have been a good answer. It's just we forget about Goff.
I can't believe.
But they're the best team.
But the problem is, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as these other 3. If the game is in Jared Goff's hands, you're screwed. I mean, even though last year he played well and everything else, but he's not that guy. That they're gonna win based off the run game and defense. That's what wins you Super Bowls.
The question of who wins the Super Bowl as a team, not like just carry the team as a quarterback. I don't.
Yeah, okay. You're telling me I'm not gonna take the son of Odin now with a head coach.
All right, let me check your optimism here. Do you think in 1 year, which of those 5 quarterbacks win the Super Bowl has the best odds in 2024? Not a project of 2, 3, 4 years. Like
you're talking about for next year? Oh, next year.
Okay, all right.
You said when?
Well, in 1 year, in 2024, you're not picking the Chargers and Herbert to win the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not. But that's a different story. Don't you worry.
Or just or keeping it real.
Don't worry. A what? No, I'm being for real. I'm not even being a homer. Like you know how it is. Like the takes I give you are real. Like, yeah, I think the Eagles have a good team. I think the Ravens have a good team, but they're missing the thing that's going to get them over the hump is what I'm getting at. Like,
all right.
We've seen the son of Odin make bag boys great receivers. You don't see his ass throwing to a bag boy triple covered in an AFC championship, obviously because he hasn't made it. And the other part is he's not throwing into triple coverage. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. I'm going to say. I don't think those guys are the guys. I already told you. I didn't think they were worth the money they paid them. What the hell do I know? I'm a stooge. I don't know anything. Okay, moving on. Here we go. By the way, if I ever tell you I'm working out and I'm in a camp, I'm dedicated, that's the Connor method. Just think of that. Because when I saw those videos of him partying and everything, I was like, that's what the hell I'm talking about, dude. That's exactly how I'd be in the fight camp. Like, could you imagine if he beats Chandler and he's over here messing around, going to bars and doing all this stuff? Like, that's gonna be hilarious. Moving on. Sasha Banks, known as Mercedes Monet Mercedes. I don't even know who that is. I don't understand where all this is coming from, dude. I told Fernando, before she was released from WWE and all the beef and all that stuff, I think they had she was on an episode of Heels or whatever, where they kind of go through heels and yada, yada, yada. And she was talking, I understand you need to have an ego to make it to these things, but she was talking about herself, like not kind of understanding the real world. And she was like, oh yeah, when I first got to WWE, thank you for my hot dog, like a fan, And she's like, but now I'm like the Roman Reigns. Like, I'm like this person. I'm like that person. I'm like, dude, you need to chill. Like, you're not living in reality. And since we've seen her leave, I think WWE was on the right side of history for that one, because when we saw her, where did she go first for now? Like New Japan Pro or something like that. Yeah, she came out drunk or acting all weird or whatever.
She did.
There she looks drunk and weird, like high. I don't know. Like allegedly. I'm not there. Anyway, so I'm glad she's not back in WWE. I hope they don't bring her back. But anyway, by the way, I got my Drew shirt on again 2 weeks in a row. You know why? Because he was freaking dropping fire that The Rock hasn't done for decades on the Twitter sphere or the X sphere, on live on Raw. Did you watch Raw, by the way? He had a good
did not.
He had a good line where he says, CM Punk's been back for 6 months. His biggest highlight has been me, because he hasn't done jack shit. But anyway, I'm tired of all the Prime stuff, by the way. I'm so sick of it.
I'm with you.
I'm so sick of it. And
don't get sued, though. You might get sued.
Allegedly. Okay, let's see. Oh, by the way, don't slander my name with that Taylor Swift crap. I was half drunk when I made that video.
Was that on the list?
Yeah, that was on my list. Then shout out to Real Jackson. Can't win without the offensive line. Shout out, dude. I totally agree.
The Hogs.
That's what it's all about.
Dean says let's reel it back because
I think I know who that is.
We all know who that is. He told us. He's a jackass.
well, I like this Dean.
Oh, yeah. I'll spag daddy. That was a very creative name. I'll give him that. We should give him a t-shirt over that one.
Dan, what did you
oh my God, Mimsy, you might as well hand me, a hand grenade and tell me
she's messing with you.
I can't stand either of them. The Rock I'm so sick and tired of because I don't see it. And I understand like the nostalgia. See, I can't believe this. Like, is there a luckier son of a bitch on the planet right now?
Where's his actual wife at?
Who cares? Oh, sorry, no. Marriage is very important. Marriage is very good. Have lots of kids if you can.
I did just watch that documentary on Netflix, Ashley Madison, where people go to cheat.
I saw that one.
I don't even know who that is. Yeah,
no, it's an app. It was I think it's still around. Ashley Madison, where you want to go commit adultery and keep it on the low. Go to Ashley Madison.
That's terrible, dude. By the way, I heard some blasphemy over the weekend from shout out Elizabeth. Shout out to you.
What's wrong with you, Elizabeth? Who misses Dan?
What? Do you hear the slander that I have to deal with day in and day out? It's unbelievable, dude. But anyway, I heard some slander over the weekend. 2 scumbags directly in my life were speaking ill of mommy, and I will not have it. So I revoked their mommy their mommy card. They can never root for her. They can never cheer for her. Nothing. Because I'm still team mommy over Liv.
Yeah.
What?
Why is it that you say this and people get frustrated with you, but then the Ravens end up doing it and they switch the position of QB Malik Cunningham to wide receiver?
You see what I'm saying? Could you imagine my backfield if I had Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson? It would be the greatest
Justin
thing.
Fields wasn't happy about playing special teams today, by the way, or a couple of days ago.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, even that, like, we're not living in reality, okay? Like, if you can't beat out Russell Wilson for a quarterback spot, hey, buddy, it might be some Terrell Pryor time. Terrell Pryor, was a rookie quarterback. If I remember right, obviously, don't shoot me.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
He was part of that fake draft, the second draft of the year.
That's right. Because he got in trouble for selling tattoos or signatures for that. Anyway, he got paid as a wide receiver. He got like a huge contract from the team that shall not be named, or I forgot who. Shout out, Mimsy. Appreciate you. You see?
Malik Cunningham, what are you doing? The backup for Lamar Jackson is freaking Josh Johnson. You could win that job. Keep playing. Don't give up on your dreams, man.
Hey, he's probably trying to get a payday, dude. Think about it. Think about the conversation that probably happened in the building. Because they keep 3 quarterbacks now, right?
Yeah, I guess you can.
Maybe there's a third guy that they like. They said, "Hey, you got some athleticism. Let me talk to you. How are your hands?"
They do need a wide receiver on that team. Actually,
there's another. Oh my God! Well, they did this stupid thing of signing Odell to how much money that he got signed to last year. Who did he sign with this year? Yeah, Miami. Stupid. Oh,
yeah, $10 million in Miami. So he's just, scamming people.
Dude, Miami's done. Who's this? This isn't
Michael Mayer.
My mentality, my attitude this year. Nothing wrong with last year, but it's just different this year. It's different.
Oh, dog.
More positive. I love to be out here on this field. I love to play football, man. I love to. I mean, it's what I
love
do.
The Raiders,
like you said. So,
listen.
I've definitely flipped the script a little bit. Last year maybe there were some days I didn't want to come in or something going on. Like
you don't want to hear that.
Dig down.
Can you imagine that?
Like that tells you. You know what that tells you? How big of a cancer Josh McDaniels was to that team and that organization.
Oh, maybe you can blame it on that.
And what else would it be? Like if this is the problem.
He's kind of questioning his work ethic, but nobody asked him to say that, and he said it. I like the honesty, but yeah, Tom Telesco, real motivator.
That is not true. Scumbag. I'll deal with you later.
Who was worse, Brock Barry's not being motivated last year, or Michael Davis blaming his ex-girlfriend on why he was terrible?
You mean Michael Mayer? No, Michael Davis. Michael Davis. Michael Davis is the worst one. That is unbelievable to me. He wanted to blame an ex for his performance. Hey, buddy, I got the tape. It wasn't some ex. That's been happening for a few years. But anyway,
Also, name that team. Who does he play for now?
Who?
Michael Davis.
Who cares? Oh, the team that might not be named. Voldemort. I'm in like my Harry Potter mode now. The team that must not be named. Don't say his name. Don't say the name.
Washington. Yeah, correct.
Who cares?
I'm surprised you know that one. Okay.
Did you see supposedly that some tribe is suing them to bring back the old name?
Really? Huh.
Yeah. I saw that on X or whatever. X is a lot of good stuff, dude. Even though half of it's batshit
You
crazy.
guys see? Did you guys see this from the?
I'm not gonna do this because this is half of the time they set you up to get you in trouble.
What would be the guess? F-U-C-K.
Hold on, here we go. Listen to the guess.
Right in the butt.
Oh yeah.
What?
Right.
No.
Right.
I don't know what the final.
That's really what he went with.
This is the best.
It's not even enough letters and right.
Yeah. B-U-T-T. Yeah. Yeah, that's why. Those are the worst. Those are the worst. I was gonna say I always think of the South Park episode, but I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, Gilbert, real quick,
yeah.
before we bring Vic in, I wanted to ask you, Gilbert, what did you make of all the Mike Tyson stuff?
Oh, well, also, like, I was gonna say, like, it's a shit show, but I shouldn't say that S word here. But
No, you're good.
It kind of makes me feel like, okay, there's a lot of idiots out there. I'm sorry if you're one of them that believe that Mike Tyson has a chance. He's freaking 60 years old, and getting injured in camp tells you enough that this is going to be a clown act. Obviously, Jake Paul is not a real boxer to me, but he's in his 20s. He's been training. He's a young guy, and he could take down an old Mike Tyson. I saw Mike Tyson lose his breath against Roy Jones Jr. Can we stop it? Ryan Garcia,
I would love to see that.
You promote so hard. You're helping out your boy Jake Paul. I would love to see that too. That's good promoting.
There you go.
But
if Ryan Garcia knocks him out, note the.
I would love that. I would love to see that and get on Ostrigen or whatever. I don't care. Roll it up, Ryan Garcia. But the Mike Tyson thing, it's a clown show. He's 60 years old. He got hurt. I'm not surprised. Get out of here.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Sorry.
The hell is
was
that?
when Mike Tyson was fighting.
You're gonna slander Mike Tyson now?
No, he's a legend.
Crazy.
I don't want to see him go out that way.
That's why I thought it was so stupid. Did you see his excuses at that one press conference where they were clowning him? They're like, could you imagine acting like a moron with Mike Tyson like that? Like, he was like, you guys talk trash. I fight a boxer. Now I don't fight boxers. Now I fight a boxer. And I'm like, bro, like, this guy's about to collect Social Security pretty soon.
Jeez.
But like, this is my thing. This is what I'm gonna tell you. You know what's happening? This is mind games. Mike Tyson's the king of mind games, dude. You remember in the 90s when he'd say, oh no, I'm not gonna repeat some of those things, but I'm hoping this is honestly I agree. Mimsy, the worst part is I hate Logan Paul, but damn it, is he such a good wrestler? So I have to respect it, as opposed to what was her name? The UFC fighter who
Ronda Rousey.
There you go. Sword to irrelevant.
What's her name?
Over there. Yeah, I couldn't remember her name, but anyway, he really got hurt. I hope it's just a mind game.
No, he didn't get hurt. He was on an airplane. He felt out of breath, and he.
It's time, Mike. We love you, Mike. Don't do it.
By the way, real quick,
I hope he just gets in there. That last piece of adrenaline hits. And he gets some old man strength, and he just knocks his dumb ass.
By the way,
I get Ryan Garcia. I would love to see that.
I saw this video on Twitter real quick. In 1961, a Patriots fan ran onto the field during the last play of the game to help the defense on a play. No one noticed. The Patriots ended up winning the game. But
I had no idea you even played that clip. I'm like,
how did they not notice? Is he not in gear?
It was in black and white. I wasn't.
Oh, he was probably wearing gear or what?
No, you can. Well, watch him.
Oh, that's not a.
Yeah, but look, he's not wearing
safety in the box, man. Come on.
He's not wearing a uniform. That's always been the craziest thing when you watch these old clips. Could you imagine running a slant and the field goal posts are on the goal line? Like, you get knocked out by the goal post.
You should Photoshop Ed Reed coming down the field. And
you remember that, back then you saw the fans were all standing right there.
Oh, really? So, I didn't even notice that.
I still remember Joe Flacco in that Super Bowl against the 49ers. He said, I remember they took the safety. And then he's like, hey, if this guy takes off running and is about to score a touchdown, I'm going to run onto the field and tackle the whoever's about to have.
That's a real strategy. You give up a 15-yard penalty over a touchdown, 100%. Yeah. They'll talk shit, they'll slander you, but At the end of the day, you got the ring that they didn't have, dude. So
that is true.
don't you remember? Don't you remember Mike Tomlin did that in a regular season game?
Oh,
they're like, oh, what? I didn't even know it was going on. Like,
yeah, he was standing. He was standing right there. Mimsy said the Patriots are always cheating.
Hey, did you watch that Dynasty? Apparently, Bill Belichick was judge, jury, and executioner. He did the whole thing. He was the mastermind.
Yeah. Are we doing burial of the week or?
Well, I want to say one real quick. I don't know if you guys
go ahead.
You said you wanted. Sorry, Gilbert. You said that you wanted to circle back to the whole practice thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys saw what Tom Pelissero had this report in the morning.
Don't even know
that. I guess the NFLPA wants to propose where they get rid of the OTAs, mini camp, all the kind of crappy workouts that are voluntary, right? And then have a long off season, and then you report middle of June, and immediately training camp starts, and you have June through all of August for a very long training camp. I guess players want to have a long off season, but like I like that month break there. And I think I saw it was a Chase Daniels that said that. He said he liked that month off because the school semester was out. You get to hang out with your family and the kids, and you enjoy for a month. And he said a lot of players didn't put in that work for that month away. They got in trouble. They got out of shape. Injuries occur. So the ones that are actually putting in the work and doing it the right way are going to get screwed over with this new change. As a reporter, I'm going to hate it because I like when it just disappears for a whole month. You do nothing. You don't worry about the draft, free agency, schedule, all that crap, OTAs, just nothing for 5-6 weeks. Yeah, it's all about me.
I'm surprised you fell for that, Gilbert, because this sounds like the NFL putting it out there because they won that 18 game season.
The NFLPA did it. That's part of the deal.
Right? No, that's the NFL putting it out there. The NFLPA didn't put anything out.
Well, then why would Tom Pelissero put their name on it? He said the NFLPA.
Come on,
they're the one doing the proposal.
Either way,
he's not gonna lie about that.
I believe the NFLPA did this. The NFLPA is absolutely worthless. They're there
good.
For what? To negotiate a supposed contract every 20 years, or when the meteor crosses the sky.
They keep getting screwed over every time it's time to negotiate for a reason.
It's horseshit. Yeah, I'm sick of the NFLPA. It's just there for show. They have morons in there running it. This is why now I have 3 Super Bowls decided by tiki-taka type flags and everything else and horseshit. I'm sick of it. And you know what's funny? The other day I was watching the NBA and I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember why I don't watch this garbage anymore. It's so soft, completely different, not the same game. And the NFL wants to move that way. I have no idea why. Player safety to an extent, I agree with. But some of this other stuff is absolutely stupid.
But that gives players a break for a month to get back into it. And
I don't give a rat's ass about that part. I care about what they've done on the field on Sunday, Monday, Thursday. Now apparently Monday through Sunday because they want to play every day.
The issue could be like, what do you do from February, March, April, May when you're not being around the team? They're going to do crap for 4 months. Imagine.
Well, I don't even understand why. Like, if it's voluntary, those workouts, like where's the you still get the big gap.
What's wrong?
If players want the big gap, I
don't know. They're trying to make it seem like it's to prevent injuries. I think it's more than to it. Like the NFLPA, they're always doing like, okay, you want that extra game, the 17 game. Well, we want to practice less. Like that defeats the whole purpose of getting better. You're getting less practice, less opportunities to work out. The product gets worse. Everybody gets screwed over all around. That's why some of these games are awful last year. Because there's less time on the field. Because I get rest is very important, but you're caving to all the demands of the owners. And I don't know, but Pelissero said it was the NFLPA, Vic, and I think that's going to be true. That tells me they're going down the wrong path again.
And why are you asking for practice time or extra time? Like, you should go out, start asking for guaranteed contracts. Like, if your career is going to be shorter and shorter now, and you need some kind of guarantee after 3 years. I mean, I just don't understand where they're going with this. That's why I'm just kind of skeptical, because the NFL is going to kind of put it out there. Like first it started with the owners meeting a couple of weeks ago where they kind of started saying, well, I don't know about an 18-game season yet. And then it just became like the chatter just became more and more. And now you get this Tom Pelissero. That's why I'm skeptical about it, Gilbert. It just sounds kind of weird to me.
Think about the story also. Everybody's been talking about how they would love to have the Monday off after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, now they said, oh, well, we can
You want
do it.
that?
President's Day weekend could
exactly.
be that Sunday could be the Super Bowl. Monday you have the day off, and there we go. Well, yeah, it all coincides, and the NFL likes to set out feelers, and they like to show and
they didn't bring that up by accident with Pat
Exactly.
McAfee.
when some of these guys have leaked jerseys and all this other shit or stuff, it is because the NFL leaks it to these people and they say, hey, what do you guys think about this? And people throw it out there.
What do you think about having Monday off?
Yeah, exactly. No, it would
That's a good
affect
point,
rookies.
Lindsay.
It would affect new coaches. It's just a lot of dumb stuff. And I think, you heard also, they want to only have 3-hour interviews for coaches that are still playing in the playoffs, for coaches that want head coaching.
They shouldn't have interviews, period.
Oh, see, yeah. Well,
no one should interview anybody until after the season.
that's the problem too, is that some teams want this to be moved to at the end of the season. Once the Super Bowl's over, then it can happen, but then you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, you're behind the Senior Bowl, the scouting combine.
The Senior Bowl, so there's just a lot. But
the thing that pisses me off is this: you want the stupid Monday off, which I agree with. Just when was it when the NBA slid over their calendar by like a month or a week or whatever? Was it COVID? I don't remember. Yeah. But either way, that's all you have to do. If you want more practice time, slide the calendar a week so the Super Bowl is President's Day weekend, whatever.
But they want 18 games.
They want 18 games.
Then you have the extra week of training camp or whatever to make up for it, and you have extra practice time. That way you can evaluate.
You have more games, less practice. I'm sure it's gonna be a great product and great games. Just have a game on Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday, Thursday.
What about in the NBA with the whole what's that thing called? The
rest management,
in-season tournament.
You might get some of that.
Hurt the product. Now Kawhi load manages during the year, and then in the playoffs he can't play. Like, so what's the point of load managing? Yeah, the NFL needs to kind of take a step back, and they don't want to become the NBA.
The problem is they see soccer that at times is the whole year, because right now, you have the regular season, Premier, La Liga, all the other things, the Champions League, the this, the that. All those little tournaments. Now, on
but that's
top
not
of
a real
that,
sport.
Excuse me, sir. You didn't let me finish. Excuse me, sir. You still didn't let me finish. You still didn't let me finish. Don't slander
Sorry,
the
I had
to. No, I know. It's all good. And then now in the summer, hey, guess what? Holy shit. Copa America. The Euros. Now it's all year round. They don't have at times a dead period like the NFL does. But the problem is, again, it's like Gilberto says, one's a sport, one's a joke. No, I'm just kidding. I love soccer. But, it's not as physically taxing as football is. Like, I'm just so sick, and I've been sick for a while of this, and I've said this numerous times during the draft. Like, I'm so sick that, like, when the NFL's not on, they're like, how can we stay relevant? Well, hey, 800,000 trades in the first 10 picks to get all excited and do all this stuff. Hey, they're trying to trade Justin Herbert. Hey, they're trying to look at this guy at the combine doing this. And I'm like, dude, like, who cares?
Here's one game from the schedule, one game per day. Let's slowly give it out to you. Like, get the hell out of here.
Like, it's okay, dude. You're a big enough brand to where you don't have to be a year-round type thing. The sport won't, the players won't hold. They shouldn't stand for it. The league itself, we know when the hell August is just for the NFL season. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, and I'm getting tired of all this stuff because it's so stupid and so ridiculous.
Training camp in June. Oh no.
Yeah, especially how hot that would be.
How hot it's gonna be. Screw that.
You're gonna have 10 teams here in California now.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Gilbert, if you had $6 million, would you move to Chicago and buy this home?
No, I still wouldn't. You know what's in Chicago?
Oh, I know which one it is.
America.
Oh,
look at this. So
you're giving me money to buy this house?
No, I'm saying if you had $6 million, would you move into the home?
No, I'm not going to use my $6 million on this house. Hell no.
Who wants to be in Chicago, Frown? Like, that's what you.
Whoa, a good friend.
I will move to get paid there.
Oh, yeah. Shout out. I forgot, but that's a job. That's something else.
Look at this home theater, Gilbert.
No.
Oh yeah.
There you go. We'll put the Champions League
Well,
on in there.
Look at
for
that.
him.
I would take the money and invest my money somewhere else. How about that?
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, why don't you do it in Bitcoin?
Then I would lose most of it.
Yeah,
Just
look,
like
at that. Look at that. That does not look like the same house from.
well,
the movie.
because it's
no,
crazy
a lot of it was in a gymnasium there in Chicago. I remember I saw.
Yeah.
Vic, you might actually like that documentary on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, we
the movies that
we
made
have
us or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah,
house.
look at that. You even get a profit of a few hundred
I was
grand,
gonna
dude.
say I'll keep the rest and I'll move back to LA.
Why would you want to be in LA? That's as bad as Chicago probably is.
Better than that one horse town you call San Diego.
Except, look, I'm not even a huge fan of San Diego, but
where do you want to live, man? Where do you want to live?
Anywhere but here at this
Scotland,
point, dude. This is
apparently.
ridiculous. Scotland would be dope. Although I wouldn't be able to do
We
it.
we almost lost him
European
out there when
somehow.
we went to Scotland a couple of years ago. He almost stayed.
But then it's just different way of living.
It's not America.
I know that's the thing. Like
I will visit you once a year if you move over there.
oh, like you know what's funny? Like I've been thinking about this, and
You only
I know
see
it's
him once a
stupid.
year.
I know, right? At the Super Bowl.
Maybe I'll
Which
see him
hey,
tomorrow.
shout out! I'll see you in Louisiana. But I've been thinking about this for some. If I got the lottery or whatever, for sure I'm buying property in Scotland as soon as I can, dude. Easy money.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody for.
Hey Fernando, can I say something real quick before we go? I just want to. Bill Walton passed away, and I wanted to share this comment here. Someone left a comment earlier here. Here, let me find it real quick. Should have cut.
You know,
this
it's
ready
funny. Bill got mad at me a couple of years ago when so it was my first internship. I'm just gonna share a quick story. So, there's a place here called the Hall of Champions in Balboa Park, and they honor like as CIF winner stuff like that. Like your boy down here was a CIF 2-time CIF winner. But
Division 3 football.
They do.
Kiss my ass. How was track over there? Non-contact.
Hey, we were part of the big school CIF. Get out of here.
So
finalist, or you just get an award for attending the thing?
I did not make it a state, so I lost in the second round.
So I was at.
I'm like Kanye, dude. You know, they always ask me what would have happened if I wouldn't win. Guess I'd never know.
All right, let your brother continue.
So I was at an event, and it was like my second event or third as an intern back in like 2013 or 14, and I was asked to like interview him real quick, and I was like, so Mr. Walton, he's like, Bill, please. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I was like, well, Mr. Walton, Bill, please. And then I was like, okay. And then I continued, and then I was like,
you should have brought him a bill.
No, hold on. He looks at me.
Money, dude.
He's like, "Do I have to hit you on top of the damn head that you realize to call me Bill?" I'm like, "I'm sorry." And then he's like, "You're not lesser than me, man." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're not lesser than me. Like, you don't have." I was like, "It's out of respect." He's like, "Don't respect me then." And then I just started laughing, and just the nicest guy ever. And then after, like,
you gotta throw it down, big man. Throw it down.
Oh, I know. I was like, he's like, "Do I have to hit you on top of the head?" And then I was thinking, and he's like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, so your arm probably reaches about 8 or 9 feet into the air. You drop it down on my head, it's going to be like in the cartoons. I'm going to sink into the damn ground. And he started laughing. And then he goes over and tells like my boss at the time, he's like, great guy. He just needs to learn to call me Bill and not Mr. Walton. And I just started laughing. So he was a great guy, obviously huge part of San Diego. He was loved all over the city. Yesterday was people mourn for him. I know they gave
not
him
a fan of his son though, but
in multiple places. And
you know what's funny? San Diego Clippers. I forgot about
that. Dan's not a big fan of Luke Walton because he went to Uni, which is the rival school of the school at Dan
of the
went.
Undisclosed location that I work.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember he was so excited about Luke had just been hired by the Lakers as the head coach, I think. And he was so excited about Luke and all that. And he was really excited about his journey. And he's like, look, all my championships, all I've ever done doesn't matter. What matters is my son or my kids and what they end up doing. So that's been one of the happiest moments of my life. So yeah, no, good call on that one, Vic. Shout out to Bill Walton. Unfortunately, he passed away with cancer. He just lit up a room whenever he showed up. So it was always great to.
I liked him on the broadcast when I used to watch basketball pretty religiously.
Yeah.
Like,
he
just added something different. Yeah, I get people got tired of the act after a while, but like just to like not be so serious, and you still learn at the same time, add some color, and then also be fun about it. I liked it.
But that's what a color commentator is supposed to do. Like when you have guys like him, when you have guys like Pat McAfee, like these kind of out of the box guys that do stuff, that's what they're supposed to do. I mean, obviously, like we all saw what Devontae Adams said last week about Tony Romo or whatever, but
then you get me started on that.
Color commentators are supposed to do that. They're supposed to add a little bit of pizzazz,
flavor, character.
Exactly. So
well, that's why like who the hell remembers Georgia's national championship? They're not talking about Georgia dominated TCU. Da, 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 da. We're talking about Pat McAfee and how he carried the whole game. Like, I will never forget. I will never forget. The funniest thing was right before halftime where Pat tells Boston Connor, "Hey, Boston, if you're the TCU coach, try and motivate us and tell us to come out ready to go in the second half." He starts saying something, and then AJ Hawk goes, "F you, coach. That's not true. We suck." And they all just jumped on AJ Hawk, and he's like, "I'm trying to be the toxic teammate. I was playing a role or whatever." He's like, "How do you know it's going to be all hunky-dory in the locker room?" And I was like, damn.
Yeah. No, and I for me, I mean, I go back to when I first started watching basketball, and he was always there. Like that was one of the things that he made, like you guys talked about, he made watching basketball fun. Like that was the thing. Like not having him on the broadcast for the last couple of years in the NBA really sucked. And like seeing him in the Pac-12, I think one of the things that
Conference of Champions.
The Conference of Champions, and now like he won't have to live without like you always know that the Conference of Champions was a Pac-12 because he won't get to see them in the Big Ten. So I thought that was kind of cool for him. But like when Delver, when I saw his comment, I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't know if we get a chance. And then once he put it on there, I figure we all had a little story about it. So it's
Mimsy,
cool.
that's facts, especially when it's a Chiefs game. I can't do it. It's the most annoying.
They should put Tony Romo and Gilbert Manzano on the Chiefs call.
Could you imagine? They'd both be dressed in red. They'd have red suits on, little ties and everything. They might even get a team pin if they're polite and everything. They'd be so excited.
Can I know we're kind of changing subjects here with the Tony Romo thing, but I just want to understand why CBS didn't go get Greg Olsen. I mean, he's there. I mean, go get him. I mean,
I said that a couple months ago that they should kick Tony Romo to the curb with all the money that they're paying him.
He must have a kind of a crappy contract.
Yeah.
Like, why would you take the pay cut and not go explore options? So
what was it? A $7 million pay cut? That's
he went from 10 to 3.
Yeah, he's probably not he wasn't a free agent and probably had a non-compete. So
I think he's got one more year left, so he's gonna be
Greg Olsen agent. If he's Greg Olsen took a pay cut,
$7 million.
Yeah, he did because of Brady.
You see how the world is not fair, dude. The one who should be rewarded is then the screwed with the head. Exactly.
You know what?
The headband with Mahomes' hair.
If I'm NBC, I cut Chris Collinsworth. I kick his ass out of there, and I would bring Greg Olsen in there as
he has compromising photos of the execs at NBC. That is how he's remained there so long, dude. How else do you explain it?
Dan cannot stand Chris. We need to do Dan's least top 10 commentators.
We could do that next week. I'll get a list. I can do that next week. It's
you
just
got that Netflix money too.
Well, you know what? We got some
Chris
slow time coming up.
Chris Collinsworth?
No, I said Greg Olsen. I mean, Netflix might offer.
Oh yeah, I wonder who's going to be like their cast. Yeah, their crew.
Yeah.
Wait, they're getting a game every week?
They're getting 3 games.
For Christmas and Black Friday.
Oh, but it's only special.
No, it's just Christmas for the next 3 years.
Christmas. Okay, yeah, great.
That's where it's heading. It's headed to Apple TV and it's headed to Netflix.
I've always said the stupidest thing was if you're gonna have, like I think what they charge for Sunday tickets ridiculous. Like it's half of the year, and you're gonna charge me.
You get $100 off right now if you subscribe.
Yeah, it's idiotic. Little Daniel has a what's it called? A student email, so we're good. Anyway,
Okay.
but what was I gonna say? Oh, I
Badass,
was
did
gonna-
you hear what? Did you hear what I heard right now? I saw. In the
I don't
text
know.
right now.
I don't know who you are referring to because that is not my God-given
Oh, sorry.
biblical name
Wow.
issued to me by the government.
Sorry.
But
They're gonna
thank you
cancel
very
you.
much.
I'm not.
for disrespect.
I'm not happy. Somebody complained about my burgers from yesterday.
Uh-oh.
No, she didn't. Oh yeah.
no.
So you and I both are on strikes now. I drank the Coke Zero, and now the burgers are shit. Wow. You see what we have to deal with? I'm not even going to get into this because this is like a dangerous area. It's a
I'm
minefield,
sorry,
but-
Mom, but I am pissed. That is bullshit. My burgers were delicious.
Don't
Damn, how were
you
my burgers?
dare!
Well,
Don't
over
you
seasoned or
dare!
what?
Don't you
No,
dare!
hell no.
Oh, you know
And it
what?
was a little bit too red, but
Who
that's
care-
how.
yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
Idiots.
Burn the damn thing?
Yeah,
I
they
don't make
want you-
hockey pucks.
I know they want you to burn it. No, the problem is, right?
Yeah.
Frau actually did something new that's pretty good. Instead of seasoning it with salt and pepper or whatever, he uses the barbecue rubs, and that's actually pretty good. Like
No.
they're pretty good burgers. But I was gonna
Hey,
say something.
Speaking of burnt,
Oh, now I know. Okay,
I went.
go
hold
and then
on.
I'll
I
go.
went to Outback Steakhouse for one of the graduations that I went to last week,
Hockey
and
puck.
everybody's steak was a hockey puck. So
Bro, but like Outback Steakhouse, like that was cool in 2008.
Yeah, I know.
But,
Like that,
but
like-
do you go there for the Awesome Blossom or whatever it's called? That's
Oh,
what
yeah,
you go there
Awesome
for.
Blossom.
no, it was just
Hey,
nearby. When we
Was it
just
worse
got
than the
F it.
Salisbury steak that you got at in Vegas?
I can't believe you got
Oh,
that at
me?
a dive bar.
Yeah.
No shit, we
No,
weren't
no,
there.
no, no, nothing as bad as that.
Oh,
That was at a
Nothing as
dive
bad
bar,
as
right,
Las
or
Vegas.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't get a steak dive bar, freaking Adam.
Yeah, that's the
Adam,
most
Adam
idiotic
looked at
thing I've
me
ever
and he's like,
heard.
"Are you two like married or something?" Because I was like, "Oh, Gilbert, pass it to me. Let me try it." And he passes me his plate, and I cut it and everything. And I bit into it. I was like, "Oh God!" I
You
was like,
see
"Here,
how
you can have
jealous
it
they
back."
are of the Compas, bro? You see how jealous
I
they
had
are
a
of the
whole-
Compas?
Can I
meat
give
in
you
the
guys a
paper
spot
towel.
that has low key a good steak, but nobody orders it there? Is Olive Garden. And like my wife is a big steak person, right?
Yeah,
And when I ordered it because I will really like I got Oklahoma, there's not a lot of places to go. So, as soon as you land in Tulsa, you go to the first place you find there, right? So I was like, hey, I really want a steak. So we ended up, I'm like, I'm gonna order a steak from Olive Garden. And I was like telling her, I'm like, this is good. And then she tried it like a few months later, and she's like, yeah, you were right. They actually have good steaks there. So
I'm
Olive
surprised
Garden,
Oklahoma or
another-
Tulsa doesn't have better steak options.
another throwback to
Yeah.
2010, dude, or something like that.
Yeah,
The-
you think that like the local barn or
Midwest
whatever has-
kinda
yeah,
steak?
How
Yeah.
dare you
But,
slander
like,
the good people of the South in Oklahoma, Frown?
What are you talking
It's not the
about?
South.
I'm not.
Oklahoma's not the South. Are
That's
you
like the
serious?
Midwest. I don't know what the hell they are.
That is the South.
I did not slander them. I just said you would think with all the
Yeah.
barns and everything out
The
there. that-
barns.
and the
Oh,
cows out there.
oh,
like, yeah.
Well, you know what you need to say next? Let's go civilize these people and build some buildings or put some buildings.
No,
up.
no, heck no. Keep making my steaks and I'll keep on buying them. But
Keep slaughtering the cows, dude. Shout out. But anyway, I was
Yeah.
gonna tell you,
Cow farts.
since it's a slow time, I can also do my my top 10 hated reporters. Although
oh my
That's
no,
gonna-
no, no. All right.
that's
Let's,
gonna ruffle,
Yeah,
over here.
Hey, let's keep it to the
no,
TV
no.
analyst for next week, and then we'll see how about.
Yeah, that's why I said it'd be TV, not people we actually know. Like,
Oh, okay.
oh, sorry, because he's in tight with his hero over there. So
Me and Tony.
No.
no, Tony's
yeah,
not-
we didn't
Tony's
talk
a
about
BFF.
the friend and colleagues. I mean, we're really appreciative of
our
Gilbert.
friends
Hey,
and
shout out,
colleagues
dude.
list.
Send a
I
prayer.
got 2 of those in a week, so
There you go.
There you go.
it's getting serious.
All right. We appreciate everybody for checking out another episode of Compas on the Beat.
You're a
Again,
dumbass.
Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Be a compa, tell a compa. Don't forget to
Got
subscribe to the newsletter. Don't forget to subscribe to everything on Compas on the Beat. Next week, you're here next week, right? You're not. You leave the week after that.
Yeah, I don't remember, but definitely something next Monday, right? Or
You
Monday
need to
coming
make
up.
a Google
yeah, next
calendar
Monday, yeah.
so we remember all this stuff. 'cause
Yeah, I'm not leaving
I
until like middle June. Yeah, middle
I've
June.
been asking
Oh,
for
after
now like
minicamp.
8 times.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've
I
been
won't
asking
be
for
here.
now.
By the way, just
Cool.
announcement: I won't be here.
Okay.
Next week?
Monday. No,
Damn. R.I.P.
he's
We'll
going
play.
to Oklahoma.
going to Oklahoma. Yeah.
Shut up,
Nice.
idiot. What do you mean?
Oh,
R.I.P.
oh.
yeah. Olive
Have fun.
Garden
No,
steak.
I meant that's not what I meant, dumbass. Stop trying to whatever. Frown thinks you're going to be picked up in a horse and buggy apparently over there.
That'd be awesome. I want to visit. I want to
Straight
visit
to Olive
Amish
Garden.
country.
Yes.
Wait till that horse takes a huge dung and just drops a few loads. Then
I
you're going to
hate-
see.
I hate horses.
That's gonna be a story for next time. That one's hilarious. For now,
No, I hate
horseback
horses.
riding.
I done shot that horse. Like in the Back to the Future 3.
Send him to the
but
glue factory.
I didn't actually kill a horse, Peter. But
It's a joke.
again,
It's a joke.
We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. We will be back next week. So again, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to be a compa, tell a compa. We got some really cool stuff coming up. Gervonta Davis coming up. Conor McGregor's coming up. There's a lot of stuff that we got coming up. So make sure you guys tune in. Thank you guys so much for the time being. ¿Sabes qué, Gilbert? Vámonos.
Yes, to echo what Fernando said, should be an exciting June. We'll take a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah, you're going to Cancun.
Well, that's in July.
Scumbag.
But I'm going to Mexico for a different part.
Scumbag.
And late June, I forget. But we'll talk about
Shout
that.
out,
Victor won't
Mimsy.
be here next week, so we're going to be off and on for the next few months. But it's going to be a lot to do and talk about in June. Thank you, Mimsy, for the nice comment there. But we're not on vacation just yet, besides Victor. So we're going to be around next Monday. I will see you, Fernando, on Wednesday. You can ask me next week about Chargers OTAs. I might even see Dan and Diego in person, not just at the Super Bowl. We'll find out. We'll have stories about that. And also, we've taken a little bit of a break on the newsletter, but I'll bring it back soon. We've kind of had a little bit of a snag after a busy May and April, so a little deserved time off, but we'll bring back the newsletter. And can't wait for the summer. A lot of exciting stuff here.
In that.
Oh, okay.
I've been writing my.
Then
my
I'm good. As soon as we're done here, I'm gonna send you the doc and bring it back this week.
My manifesto.
Okay. Well, everything you have in that notepad, unleash it on the Google Doc.
I should write my section is www. What was it? Dan'sThoughts.gov/ whatever.
I do like that you write in third person. Keep that going. That's actually pretty.
Hey, bro,
cool.
when Dan and Diego gets rolling, you can't stop him.
Right.
You're like Ricky Henderson.
Jimmy from Seinfeld. Jimmy goes into the basket.
Never saw.
Whatever. But on that note, time to get going. A lot going on here in the program, but it's been 2 hours and 16 minutes program. So, vamos, pues, vámonos.